Just take the dim link, Cassandra. Just take it already. It's not like I'm charging for it, for crying out loud. Cassandra, open the dim link. This video is going to show you how to solo farm Finality's Auger, the exotic turret heavy weapon that is now meta in the game and has been since Edge of Fate. If you are watching this video and you have not got Finality's Auger, this video is designed exactly for you. You need to stop what you're doing and make sure you get it, because you can farm Finality's Auger in the game. You can also farm Icebreaker and Bury Bloodline, all legacy stuff. Well, let me read this statement. Removed weekly lockout on exotic weapons rewards in legacy raid and dungeon activities. These now have a chance to drop each time their source encounter is completed. The source encounter for Finality's Auger is Sundred Doctrine Final Boss CP. You can farm this to your heart's content in solo or fighting gameplay, which it is better in the fighting because you can oscillate the checkpoint. Now you can easily get the checkpoint solo by going visiting our website, which will be linked down below, d2checkpoint.com. Follow their rules, follow their terms of service. You will not break Bungie's rules by using this website. Bungie is well aware that players use d2checkpoint.com for checkpoints. They are actually fully aware of it. You're not going to break any rules by using that site. Use the site, grab Sundred Doctrine, Final Boss CP, and then you can begin. Then start doing your builds, right? Now, the best setup, ironically, is this one for Sundred Doctrine, but you don't have Finality's Auger. Finality's plus mint. You don't have it though, do you? So you can't do that. So let's look at what the next best thing is that players may have on their exotic weapons. That's what I'm going to be going through. So if we show you, I ended up going with the new exotic mint because it has more total ammo than regular mint. If you're going to use regular mint for this, you need to have it with Finalities, but you haven't got Finalities. I'm assuming you haven't got it. So the next best thing for you would be new exotic mint, and you're going to go all in damage for this weapon. This weapon out damages most heavy weapons in the game. So you may as well go all in for that. Right? We're on Bolt Charge Titan. So what else we've got is a Wyvern Gaze Primary. You need to check your vault. I'm not babying you through everything. Yeah? Whichever Wyvern Gaze Primary you have, you need to go and look for it. It's very important. If you haven't, you can focus a Wyvern Gaze Primary in the tower. There's many different weapons with Wyvern Gaze. The Joxer's Longsword is only one example of it. There's the Trial Scout. There's this weapon. There's that weapon. There's loads of weapons. Just go and have a look in your vault, please. It's up to you. This is your business. This, not mine. Go and get a Wyvern Gaze Primary. It's important to this run. And we're using an Eager Edge Sword. We're not even using a heavy weapon because the way Kev's damage timer works in Sundred Doctrine, you don't actually need a heavy weapon for this. It's all exotic mint. Eager Edge is going to actually help out damage in the end. I'll explain that in the run itself. Pairing that with the exotic chest plate, Curse of the Fallen Star. Now this is my DPS build. The build that the armor that looks nice is DPS. The armor with the horrible shader is my running build. It's my survivability build. You're going to make two builds before you start this. This is the running build with Symbioseps. Alternatively, you can use Skullfort. But I haven't got Skullfort at good stats, and I can't be bothered to go and focus that, so I'll just use Symbioseps. Symbioseps fine for me. I prefer that anyways. So I go Symbioseps. This is my running build. Stats and aspects and fragments are the same across both builds. Let me cover it. T-Crash, Rally Barricade, Seismic Strike, Pulse Grenade, Storm's Keep, Knockout. Fragments are Resistance, Shock, Focus, and Frequency. Symbioseps for running build, which stats don't really matter on that one, and then on this one it does. So when you do that, you're going to optimize all of this. So let's talk about all of this. We've got two super fonts on, a weapon font on, and double strand weapon surge with elemental time dilation for increased timer for DPS. So technically we've got a 180 weapon stat because it's 20 extra points for a font. And we've got two super stats. That's an extra 40 on top of 115 super stat. You need to really prioritize super and weapon. Creep your class ability stat 105 or 110. There is a chance Kev can kill you if you haven't got an overshield behind your barricade. That can technically happen. Yeah, it can. Kev hits nasty. Even though it's only activity power locked, he hits nasty. which power level doesn't matter. You are locked to the grade of the dungeon, right? That's basically, it's nothing like Portal or anything like that. It's just you're locked to what that level is, and that's it. So you don't need to infuse power level items and stuff. Right, so to achieve that surge swap, you need a healthy finisher on your run and build. Yeah, and you're going to need to get a way of getting orbs. Right, so heavy-handed, solar siphon and stuff to match some weapons. And then when you surge swap, you're going to have your double strand weapon surge, your fonts, your super fonts, and you're going to have increased damage at the boss. If you don't set all this stuff up, you're not going to be able to do the run properly. Your homework needs to be done before you do the run. Yeah, with a Wyvern Gaze primary, you need to stack all this stuff that I'm telling you. You're going to suffer if you don't. There you go. So you've had that artifact that matters, mods that matter, threading proliferation, pack tactics, energy acceleration only works with regular mint. It does not work with the new exotic mint. Fever and Chill, Radiant Shrapnel, Shield Crush, discount on Scavs, which I did have discount on Scavs for this build. And then when I swap, I've got my surges on that build. And there you go. This can be farmed also on Warlock and Hunter. Warlock, I foresee a very good farm on this, but I ultimately went with Titan because I believe that there'll be more Titans willing to try this out. But there is a way to farm it on Warlock as well, but that would require maybe some raid exotics that people don't have. So I was like, you know what, let me try and think on a casual basis, what do people have readily available to them to be able to at least farm this? And if you are farming in a team, by the way, you can just go regular mint. You wouldn't have finalities, so you could rock something else. You could even rock Parasite, which wouldn't be bad at all. You can go a bit of Thunderlord. Thunderlord's not that good on him, though. I have tested damage. It isn't that good on him. It's okay on him. Just that. There's other host of exotics that I tested on him, but overwhelmingly, this is what I went with the new exotic mint. So that's the details on this. On with the run. Okay, so here is how you solo farm Kev from Sundred Doctrine. There'll be an image far right with a load of Vow of the Disciple symbols, which I'll explain. If you're not up to grips with Sundred Doctrine Final Boss mechanics, well then this video is for you. Start with the 3 knights at the back of the map. You need to kill 3 knights, a VIP, 2 red bars. Follow the steps as it is if you don't know what you're doing with this. Then come to left hand side door. And you're going to T-crash a Subjugator, which I actually end up missing. But you meant to T-crash as a Subjugator, but the Grim ate it. There will be a Grim potentially left-hand door or right-hand room. Right or left-hand room, there'll be a Grim, potentially. For me, it was left-hand side. The image at the top will show you that. The Grim will drop a symbol. For me, it was Pyramid. Now, I don't want an argument today with Bife loyalists about truth or lies and law mechanics, because when Sundred Doctrine came out, if you don't know, I had to do with a couple of law people, a lot of arguments with them. I don't do anything like that. Just please follow the video on how I do it. So we've got Pyramid. Whatever symbol the Grim drops is the symbols that you need to turn off at the front console. There's a bunch of symbols everywhere, right? So for me, it's Pyramid. On the side of Pyramid, the symbols that is, those 3. So Pyramid, Stop, and Savathun, all those 3 symbols need to be turned off. And on the opposite side of that, those symbols need to be turned on. So you can establish very quickly from the Grim that drops the symbol what you need to do. Now, I didn't kill the Subjugator, the Grim at my T-crash, but my process every time is to kill one of the Subjugators at least with a T-crash, which that generally always happens. It was just a freak accident there with the Grim eating the T-crash. So you then need to look at your image at the top right. I recommend that you get this image on your phone or a tablet or your laptop or something and have it next to you when you're doing this, if you're brand new to it. And what you're going to do is you're going to get a buff from the Scions, right? It's the Scions, not the Dread enemies. Well, the Dread enemies that like sort of Scion-esque, and they drop a 7-second buff. You can shoot strand locks off these lights so that you can rotate the light to the correct symbol that you need, right? So 3 strand locks each time. This mechanic is very varied. So every time you do it, it's a lot different. So if you're not used to it at all, you're going to need to practice it and get into the rhythm of doing it. But isn't everything like that? if you've never done anything. Now, this is why we use Ahab Char rather than Yurtide, because without having to reload, I can open that door. Having a bigger size mag for that door is actually handy. Seriously, SMGs take 2 mags to shoot the door. A nice AR will be less than 1 mag. You shoot the door and it's better. You need to keep coming out of that door, and that door can crush you. So you need to play very careful with that. Now I've got my 3 symbols lit up on the right hand side. You can see it's prepped. Pyramid side is off. The right hand side, all 3 symbols are lit up. I've already sorted it. So that's when you activate it. Activate that. Try and control mid a little bit. Make sure your health is full. You're going to eager edge to this location. This is how DPS is going to go. Then you're going to do your surge swap now as the solar is taking down Kev's shield. Look at that. ADS with Wyvern Gaze round this corner. Boom, hit him with Wyvern Gaze, Pulse Grenade and T-Crash. Be careful because he's very nimble, this boss. Do not miss your T-Crash on him. And then you're going to eager edge back over here, and this is where you DPS. Do it from here. This is going to help out a hell of a lot of players, right? And you're going to keep doing your mint retrograde damage, the exotic version of it, right? It's got more ammo, it goes further, and you keep strand shackling him. Yeah, it sort of stops him from going back to mid. If you know how Kev works, like, look, he's starting to go back to mid. It staggers him, look. See the stun lock? You're going to keep doing as much special as you can. Yes, I'm about to get a second super, but DPS is also about to end. Strafe right of this door so the solo does not hurt you. Keep doing the strand. Keep doing it. I'll explain it again, don't worry, on the next phase. Then you swap back to run and build, and then you do rinse and repeat. I've got a super. I can use that on the subjugate. I like to go left-hand side first. That's my routine. Whatever routine you do, make sure you stick to it. It just makes the whole encounter a lot easier, a lot better. Yeah? You know, one encounter you might go right, one encounter you might go left. It doesn't matter overall if you know what you're doing, but if you don't know what you're doing, stick to a damn routine. T-Crash one of your servers, left or right. The left subjugator is more threatening than the right side one, because the right side subjugator, right, there's a lot of locations to stand for him, whereas the other one, there's not as much. So there's no symbols lit up at all, right? There's none at all lit up. So we need to, I'm not sure what symbol it was because I'm rewatching this back. But obviously when you kill the Grim will tell you what symbols are not to be lit up. And then you can just automatically assume what the symbols are to be lit up. Yes, you can do the truth or life and dare mechanic, right? You can do that, but in active combat, new players aren't going to do that. Law enthusiasts, please, would you not disagree with me that my way is easier than yours? You know that it is. You just want to be clever with me. The same happened when Sunday Doctrine launched. People argued with me about this to death. Just do the lullaby song and he'll do it. No way, son. We're in active combat. My adrenaline's high. I'm not reading stories for you. I want to just be able to know instantly. The Grim will tell you it. The Grim tells you what symbols you need to do. Okay? The Pulse is also very good at shooting the free strand shackles. When you're shooting the free strand shackles, you need to be very careful the strand stuff does not kill you. One strand resist is actually helpful in this. One solar resist, one strand resist. For the run and build, yes. For the DPS build, no, you want double solar resist, just in case you make an error. That's what that's on for. But yeah, killing the attunement scions, or whatever they're called, gives you that unwritten empowerment buff look. You can shoot the locks off. If you lose the buff, you can get it back. Just be careful, though. There is possible chance of death on this. It's no joke at times, right? Just be careful. Those dread enemies can melt quick, even at this difficulty. Eager Edge is nice for that as well. Do you see how good Eager Edge is for this? For zipping to room. I know we're not using an actual heavy for DPS, but in this actual case, because of new mint, the exotic version, because of the amount of damage it does, you don't have to really pair it with it. And because Eager Edge is on, it allows you to save time and damage, because here's the issue, right? Here's the issue. I want you to listen properly. Because I'm Wyvern Gazing and then T-crashing the boss, I'm using one strat to another to eager edge back to the ledge. If you're on the top ledge, the whole room de-aggros. You can DPS from here as well, and I will be using that strat as well because I'll come more in depth into that. There's more to tell you about this. This is a very in-depth video. Shield goes down. We've rinsed and repeated. Wyvern Gaze. Make sure it's applied. Boom. You can apply it just before the shield goes down. Post grenade, T-crash, boom. Now you can eager edge it. See what I'm explaining now to you. It's very versatile, this, because we can eager edge to a de-aggroed place to make it easier for players. Because if you stand on the floor, Kev's AI changes. His AI now is a little bit more standoffish, and he's more interested and intrigued in us. He can't strand me, but I can strand him. It's not going to be as much damage as I would hope, this entire strat. But damn, is it consistent for this. It is really consistent. So just keep doing your detonations. Try and do as many as you can before that shield goes down. You're better off just applying one Wyvern Gaze. Wyvern Gaze takes so long to proc. It's nice to proc it for the T-crash. Maybe another one halfway through DPS, seeing how you feel. It does take like 2 seconds to proc it, bear in mind. Wyvern Gaze. It takes forever to proc it. And you can end up losing damage by proccing it, funnily enough, even though you're applying weakening. I'm on about mid DPS here. I'm not talking about the start DPS. See, the beauty of the start of the DPS on that window is that you're waiting for the boss. Whereas mid DPS, the boss is waiting for you, right? So that's what we're on about with that. But you can apply a mid weakening Wyvern Gaze shot, yes, seeing how you feel. The boss also, you've got to interact with the boss. Is the boss behaving? If he isn't, man, well, maybe you could apply weakening while you're waiting for him and stuff. Again, I'll explain more of that as we go through. So we're going to right-hand side. Right-hand side, we're just going to T-crash him. Yeah, that's what it's good for, just to quickly, immediately. He's Grim, so let's explain more in depth. So Guardian. We have the symbol called Guardian. Let's go to middle. Let's establish. I don't even look at middle panel until I get the Grim. Right, so Guardian needs switched off. Drink and Darkness needs switched on. What's the timestamp on that? 17 minutes and 30 seconds. There you go. That is, Lord Enthusiast, would you not agree that that's better than what you lot do with reading books? Listen, I'm here teaching the new players, not you. You're too busy reading law books. Who have you trained up? Explain it. No, let's ask you. Who have you trained up in the last 4 or 5 years? Other than yourself reading books. I've trained a lot of people up over my time. And this is an easy way for new players. Now, don't do what I just did there, but it is showing you how good eager edge is for this encounter, though. It is very good in that. Like, being able to pre-eager edge through that wall and not have to entirely take it and stuff. Although, you're running the risk, because if you get stuck at all, you will wipe. Right? So we need to knock Hive Eyes on there. That's it. Eager edge through the wall. Looking for my next symbol. If he strand shackles you, you can't eager edge out of it, so you've got to be aware of that. You need a bit of map rotation about you in this room. That's why your solar resist does help out massively in this, because a lot of it is solar in this, right? All of those dread enemies, look at all, it's all solar. Mainly is it solar, and Concussive Damner helps out massively. So we need Darkness. Darkness is an interesting one, because you need to take the locks off, obviously. And some locks have where you've got to shoot an extra compartment device, whatever it's called, dread device, to then open like a block so that the symbol can be lit up. So there's many different combinations. So if you do this, the chance of you getting the same symbol as me are pretty much not going to happen. It's possible, but you need to know how how this encounter works, so that whatever symbol you get, you might get a bad rotation of symbols. Absolutely, that can happen. You need to make sure, though, every phase before DPS, you got 3 armor charge blocks. Yeah, you got a full super, full special. Don't go into there with 20 special, because if you do get good RNG with the boss and you've lost 7 shots at the back end of DPS, you've lost damage, son. So just go to every single wave with special ammo. My sword helps out with that. Sharp Harvest gives special ammo on sword hits. 3 hits or whatever. Right? So I'm getting my super. I've got hands on for that. Right now, middle's pretty good. Don't let the boss shackle you as you activate the panel. Eager edge to this location. Hide because the solar stuff will kill you. Yeah, don't search switch right away, even though it's tempting. Wait a few seconds, then do it. Right, there we go. Then ADS with your Withering Gaze primary. Rinsing and repeating. It's all about execution at this point. You know what to do, it's execution. Pulse grenade, look, see. He's slippery, the boss. And he shackles me. I lose damage here because of that. He shackles me twice. I have lost a major amount of damage now just by that. Do you see how... Do you see what this boss fight can be like? Although I do get a nice Withering Gaze here. Because I had time to proc that because I was waiting for him. If you're ever waiting for him, then you can do that. But we have actually lost damage on this phase because he shackled me twice. But I'm going to try and delay him from going to mid a little bit. Which you can. But we have certainly lost damage here. This has affected it a little bit. Let's see how many shots we've ended up losing. 6 shots. So we've lost 6 shots of damage. So it hasn't been... We've salvaged the phase. But we have lost damage because he shackled me twice. So you've got to be very observant with him. That was just unfortunate. Because, I mean, what happened? He reared off as I wanted to T-crash him. I course corrected. But then he scolded me as a result. So that is just unfortunate and can happen. Right, T-crash, rinse and repeat. Kill Subjugator with your T-crash. Left one preferably. Then go for your Grim. If he's there, get him. Have a look at your symbol, right? It's pyramid. So all lights on the same side as the pyramid would need to be turned off. Any lights opposite the side of pyramid for me would need to be turned on. Yeah? So I'm looking, right? So I've got kill to turn off, worm to turn off. So I'm looking at turning off symbols first. I like to turn them off, but sometimes I will mix and match and do this, that, and the other. Go baby steps. If you've got a really bad pattern on symbols, do one at a time. You can always return back to the center console and strategize a little bit more. You know, say you need, I don't know, Hive Eyes off, Guardian on. Actually, no, they're on the same rotation. Say you needed Guardian on, Witness off, right, and Savathun on, and you can't remember that on the run because you're concentrating. Then just do one at a time, right? For newer players, they're going to struggle. It's one thing to say, oh, well, it's easy to remember. Well, is it? Hang on a minute. Is it? If you're new to it? No, it isn't. Because a knight's pushing you. You've been suspended by the boss. You have short-term memory loss now. Every time you get suspended by the boss, you'll lose a bit of your memory, right? I'm being obviously pretentious, but it is a point that you can take it in stages if needed to. Subjugated in this room. This is why the left hand Subjugator is a lot easier to handle, look. Although he's got a damn stasis crystal there. So we pop a barricade up here, soaking up a lot of damage. Finish him off with some special. You can be wasteful with special because you can always farm ammo up at a later time. There's a good place to farm special ammo at the bottom of the middle map. If you see on that image where stop and give symbols are, you can farm ammo off Thrall, Knights, Scions, etc. Right? You can farm ammo. And you've got ammo counters now. See, when Sundra Doctrine came out, we didn't have ammo counters. So ammo in this fight was very difficult. Nowadays, it's much better because it's more deterministic on those ammo counters. You don't realise how impactful ammo counters are now because you know when you're going to be getting your ammo now, which is a massive thing. Right, I remember Solar Flawless in this, waiting for Sleeper Simulant ammo, waiting for Cream Breaker Bow ammo. Yeah, that's what it was called in D1. I don't know why I keep calling it. It's called the Queen Breaker now, isn't it? In D1, it was called Queen Breaker Bow, and for some reason, I still keep calling it that, and I don't know why. I can't get it out. It is just called Queen Breaker. But you understand what I'm saying? You can get your ammo much more deterministically because of those ammo counters. It's a massive difference, especially in solo dungeon gameplay. I noticed it massively because we haven't played Sundry Doctrine much, right? See, I haven't played it at all, actually, because there's no reason for me to play it. I've got everything I want from it. But anyways, we are on the next phase. So activate middle. Everything's calm. Activate at a calm stage. Activate at a calm stage is always better. Rather than getting shackled, you're half HP, then you activate, then you're putting yourself into problems. Then the solar might clean you up. The solar wave attack. ADS Withering Gaze. Pulse Grenade. T-Crash. He moves again, but I course correct. Yeah, that's one thing I hate about... Like, Bolt Charge Titan's nice and all. T-Crash on him. But it can be unreliable with him. The T-Crash, that is. Now I'm changing strat. I'm DPSing on the floor. The reason being is because the boss's AI changes at a third HP. He's more likely to go to the back of the map or in the middle of the zone when he gets low, which is no good for ledge DPS. Now I get good luck here. This is good. Solar wave attack happens. I have a plan B. That's this pillar right here. And I get good damage. This is making up for damage from the last phase. That's good damage, that. Now, I'll speed up the footage here because we are just rinsing and repeating. So you should get the idea of this gameplay now. Now, talking about other classes, I foresee definitely a Warlock being able to farm this boss very well. I haven't tested Warlock today because I ultimately went with Titan for the farm. But I imagine... Electric Slide with Fellwinter build, Song of Flame, Trench Barrel, Legend of Acrius to do very well on this boss. Right? But people don't have Legend of Acrius. Do you understand? Every time I make a Legend of Acrius video, people say I haven't got it. That's the issue that I face when I'm using raid. That's why I limit raid stuff. I limit raid exotic in videos for that exact reason. Because people just end up saying, I haven't got it. So what's the point in my video then if you haven't got it? I mean, it's motivation for you to go and get it, for sure. But you see the problem now? D2 veterans have never really understood that with me. We can't use raid exotics, they don't have them. People don't raid. We should know that now, by now. Just because they're hard work to sort out, 6 men. Dungeons are easier to sort out. You only need 3 people or you can solo them. So more people do dungeons than they do raids. Do you understand it, vets? You should understand that. You should understand it. Have you seen the state of LFG lately? No one's on it. But yeah, that's why we didn't go with the Legend of Acrius strat. Because I know that people will complain about that. So we're going with an exotic that you've got. Which is... the season. Well, that's the next thing. I'm not a season pass holder. I haven't got the exotic mint that you've got. Well, I can't help you. I don't know. Then. I don't know how you can farm it. Just farm it in a team then. You've put me in a box. New free-to-play players. Okay, final wave. So we now just need to make sure that we don't miss that T-crash. If I did... we wouldn't kill him on this phase, even though he's only got, 15% HP left? That's how tanky Kev is. Kev is incredibly tanky. Even with the power creep that we've had since Edge of Fate, after my testing, I haven't just tested Bolt Charge Titan, I won't tell you what I've tested. But after some of my tests, even with rocking 200 superstat and stuff, he's a tank. Kev is tank. He could be the most awkward boss to DPS in a dungeon. For how unreliable he can be. This is why we're on the floor now, though, because look, he's standing in mid the entire time. So that's how you can solo farm Finality's Auger. It's a very important weapon, so if you're somebody that's still watching this, you need to get it done. And at the very least, just farming a fire team if you can't solo it. But it is possible to solo. Hope you enjoy. Thank you. This video is going to show you how to solo farm Icebreaker. I'm going to read out a disclaimer. As quote from Bungie, I quote, removed weekly lockout on exotic weapon rewards in legacy raid and dungeon activities. These now have a chance to drop each time their source encounter is completed. End quote. So Bungie has buffed the drop rates of legacy, dungeon and raid exotics. You can farm them infinitely now until you get it. I'm aware there's a lot of people still chasing Icebreaker, so this is a very important day. So listen closely, please. In order to solo farm Icebreaker, there are two confirmed strats that are the easiest way to solo Vesper's Host. Number 1 is on Solo Warlock, and number 2 is on a Bolt Charge Titan. There are other high skill ways of DPS in the Puppeteer on prismatic style versions, but I'm dumbing it down for you because I'm going to assume that you're not an expert in the Vesper's Host dungeon and you need extra help. So we're going to simplify the build so that you can do single target damage and survive, and you're fine. You need single target damage builds with survivability, that being Bolt Charge Titan and Solo Warlock. There is a way to do it with Hunter, but we're going to look at that at another day. It's not your turn, Hunters, today. Farming this, I recommend either Warlock and Titan on those two builds. Right, so now we're going to go over what I use. Now, you need a D2 checkpoint. So use the website destiny2checkpoint.com and grab a checkpoint for the Puppeteer from Vesper's Host. So, before you start the run, you need to do your homework. You need to set up some builds, some loadouts. So, I have a run and build. This is build 1, and I have a DPS build, which is build 2. On build 1, you need an emphasis of survivability. We go with Karnstein Armlets for restoration on melee kills with a kinetic glaive, stasis glaive that being. A solar primary of your choice. If you don't have your tide, use mini tool. And we're using Dragon's Breath as that is my choice of DPS at the farm boss. And you're going to have a way to get orbs of power, whether it be Cypher mods or firepower and so on and so forth. You just need 3 orbs. It's no big deal. 3 orbs with Healthy Finisher on the class piece. There'll be dim links for this. Healthy Finisher to contain armor charges. This will allow you to surge swap. Then you're going to surge swap. Boom, like that. And you're going to have Mint, a Wyvern Gear's primary of your choice. Check your vaults. And also, again, Dragon's Breath. Right? With Dawn Chorus to improve Scorch effects. You are going to also put a lot of super fonts, grenade fonts, and surges on. I have precisely 3 super fonts, 2 grenade fonts, a solo weapon surge and 2 strand weapon surges, and a class font. That equates to, I'm going to read out the extra stats with fonts. So technically, I have 148 grenade stat at final boss DPS with armor charge. I have 165 super stat with this extra super fonts. And I have 122 class stat with the font. So do you see now, I'm buffing my build up now. And we have the surges, and obviously got a Wyvern Gear's primary to increase DPS. So you need to have high nade, probably 100 is enough. Creep your super above 100, try and get some damage bonus for that. Class stat doesn't need to be too high, 100's enough, right? 100's enough, okay, for this. But no more than, don't rock tier 9, you're messing the strat up. It must be tier 100 minimum. And then creep that weapon stat up a little bit, but it's not that important because you got surges, and surges offer more damage than what the weapon stat does overall, if you know what I'm saying. Like if I go 200 weapon stat, do you understand these stats get messed up? You need all of these stats to be 100 and then prioritize some of them to creep over 100 because the build needs to work so that you don't die. Having low class stat will mean you die. If you have a low super stat, you're not doing the damage. You want to have a bit of grenade stat because you are using Helion and it does help out. And obviously you want to creep that weapon stat up as well to assist with it. You know, so that's explaining to you why this is all very important. Now coming on to alternatives, I'm aware after today's research there's only 2-3 kinetic glaives in the game. There's a Trials Strand Glaive, there's Rake Angle, and there's Refusal of the Call, and this is paramount to the run. You must have a kinetic glaive because when you switch from the glaive to Mint Retrograde, you will keep Mint Retrograde ammo if you have full glaive ammo. Right? That's why it's so important to have a kinetic glaive because Mint Retrograde sits in the kinetic slot. Energy glaive's not going to cut it. So you need a kinetic one. If you don't have a kinetic glaive, go to Xur. Rake Angle and Refusal of the Call and the Trials Glaive are in Xur's loot pool. I hope that you have a kinetic glaive. Edge of Fate doesn't contain any glaives. It's odd. It really is. but it's paramount to this run that you do that. Now, I've explained you use a solar primary of your choice, and now we go over to aspects and fragments. On the build, the run and build and the DPS build, they need to match. If they don't match, it doesn't work. After my tests, I went with Song of Flame over Daybreak. Daybreak just doesn't do as much damage. Also, moreover, Eunoia is not worth it at the Puppeteer because the Hellions don't reach the boss, and I can guarantee I'm going to get a comment about it. You know he's not worth it, so you use Dawn Chorus. Dawn Chorus is more valuable at that final boss. So yeah, Song of Flame better than Daybreak. Heal and Rift needs to go on. Phoenix Dive is not allowed. Celestial Fire, because you need the range melee. Do not use Incinerator Snap, not for this. Heal and Grade for the emergencies. Touch of Flame and Hellion has our aspects. Fragments are Ember of Solace, Ashes, Torches, and Singeing. Singeing must go on for this. If you pop Singeing on, you will get infinite healing rifts, allowing you to do sustained damage against the boss. This is the superstar fragment. You must use it, and most of you throw because you use Ember of Empyrean and you're messing up. You don't need Ember of Empyrean because we've got my run and build to cover that with Restoration. We need DPS sustained way of surviving. Ember of Singeing applies that because we've got DB to back up the Scorch to keep getting the rifts. Right, so there you go. And then finally, artifact mods. We got Shield Crush. Range Shrapnel doesn't matter all that much. I've got Fever and Chill on. Discount on Scavs. Here's what does matter. Freddy Proliferation, Pack Tactics, and Energy Acceleration. All of those three mods work with Mint Retrograde. That's everything covered on with the run. Okay, so here is how you easily solo the Puppeteer from Vesper's Host to farm for Icebreaker. Set the encounter off, make sure you're banned, and make sure you are on your running build. In this case, it's Karnstein Armlets. You are going to emote and wait. A viral carrier approaches. He spawns left or right. Quickly kill him as soon as. The quicker you are, the better and safer it will be for you. Then come to middle. You get viral suppressor. You use your grenade button to suppress these two Puppeteers. At that point, you're going to start glaving both of them. Yeah? Don't pop your Rift or Hellion just because that may rob kills. Don't do it yet. You want to get Restoration via the glaive. Then you can pop a Rift. Then you can go in with your Hellion because Hellion competes with your glaive kills. And you want to get Restoration, of course. Now you're going to get a second round of 2 Radiation Captains. The middle strat is the play for this. So Suppressor buff turns your grenade into a clone. The clone then takes down the radiation shields off the captains. Are you with me so far? The next thing is you're going to keep your restoration chain going. 1 stab off an ad will give you that. Yeah? And you're going to do that. You're going to pick up scanner and you're going to scan these walls. So I've got 2. It's numbered from 1 through 4 and the room's littered with 3 panels of each number. 4. So there's 4 1s, there's 4 2s, there's 4 3s, there's 4 4s. Yeah, so we saw that it's 2. Now I need operator. So you've got operator, scanner, and the suppressor. But we need to look for 2. There are 4 2s around the room. While you are shooting the panels, you are going to refresh restoration with a quick glaive kill, which all these ads are one shot with a glaive. That's why the restoration glaive is king for this encounter. In actual fact, I would go as far to say this is the best setup and easiest way to solo the survivability section of Vesper's Host before DPS. Not only is this very good in this room, it's extremely good for the next portion, which is quite difficult for people. So you shoot your 4 2s, yeah? Make sure you're full on special. By the way, don't use any special ammo at all. Only use your melee attack. You will only use glaive ammo when I tell you to do it. Yeah, everything's precisely done. Because remember, you're going to swap your glaive to Mint Retrograde. You need full Mint Retrograde for DPS. So follow along. Now you're going to follow the red lights. So there's 2 winged rooms. And follow the red lights to the correct room. It's RNG which room you get. 4 panels to shoot. So we're in the blue room. The blue room is, I would say, a little bit easier than the other room. Shoot the 4 panels and then dunk your operator where you just got it from. You're picking up operator to shoot panels. Then you're going to go bottom right, in my case, pick up scanner. Suppressor's not needed for this encounter, only scanner. Right, you're going to scan the 4 captains, the ones that are not shielded. If you get weak, you can use a healing nade like that. And then what I'm going to do, because look at the time, you get a Sector's Purge countdown. I actually didn't do it on this one. But you get a Sector Purge countdown, and if you don't get into the middle and dunk that relic, you will wipe. Now, when you come in here, if you have Scanner, you will lose Scanner and need to get it again. Now, I've showed you it that way. That way is safer, and you will not die if you do. You'll be less likely to die if you sacrifice Scanner. Because when you go through that door, you lose Scanner, and you need to get it again off an ad. Follow the trip lines. The trip mines, sorry. Because you're going to go to the other wing of the room. There's 2 wings, understand it. And you've took the boss's shield halfway down with the nuclear bomb thing. Because that's what you're doing. But you need to do it twice. So you make your way. Always keep running. It's like a racetrack. Don't ever stop too long. The radiation at times 10 will kill you, right? But we need to get Scanner again, see? Because I sacrificed Scanner, that's where your Scanner guy spawns back in. I've done this on purpose because people are going to end up having to sacrifice Scanner sometimes because they might wipe if they don't. However, if you take it chill, you can dunk Scanner, then get your bomb. Let's commentate that. I think I do it on this run. Although it doesn't matter, by the way. You only need to do that on phase 1 of shield takedown, not phase 2. If you sacrifice Scanner on phase 2, it doesn't matter because you're not coming back here. But I'm still gonna commentate that because I think it's very valuable. So get Operator. We're in the opposite room. This is a harder room. Less cover in this room. 4 panels. Always shoot the last panel that's easy to shoot and have a direction of routing. So Operator needs to be dunked left. Don't get stuck in here because those radiation guys will trap you in there. You've got to jump out. You're then going to route and find where your Scanner is, which is generally opposite the side of the room, and you're going to start scanning all of your mages. Now, there we go. We get lucky on phase 2 here. We get the second one. It could be the 4th scan that you do, right? And if it is the 4th scan, then you've still got time. But you might want to sacrifice Scanner. Definitely, if it's the 4th guy that you've scanned and you've scanned 3 failures and 1 successful. Now on phase 2, like I said, you can sacrifice Scanner. I didn't do the strat there. I will on the next phase. Don't worry about it with the not sacrificing Scanner part. Now you need to think about ammo. I don't know why I'm going this way. I don't know why, but you need. I guess that's why I'm thinking about that. Make sure that you got full special for your glaive. So you need to know this in advance. What does your glaive hold? Have you got maximum special? Yeah? Which for me, it's 32. I haven't got max. Do you see how important this is? That's why you can only use a little bit of special. Which you only need to use it on the scanning part. There's never ever any other case where you really need to use special ammo on the glaive. Make sure you've got 3 armor charges and full special. You're then going to come to the lift and you need to search swap right away because you're going to ADS with your Wyvern Gaze primary. I search swap for DPS. We ADS with Wyvern Gaze. Boom, hit the boss. Melee, solo melee that is, and then you're going to DB and then super. You're going to waste your super. You're going to blow through it. You're not looking to extend your super. You want to use your nade, your melee, your nade, your melee. Do an extra Wyvern Gaze if you want to be fancy, but you don't need to. After that super is gone, you need to get to this location as soon as. Then you're going to rift. You're going to check where your boss is, which is left. He has a pattern, the boss, by the way. Yeah, and then we're going to do another Wyvern Gaze to activate bait and switch. It was actually in my best interest to conserve more special ammo by activating Wyvern Gaze. It was actually worth it in this because the fight's so long. Halfway through DPS, he will spawn 2 extra copies. Get a DB shot in middle and keep an eye on middle to make sure you got your relic. And keep doing DPS. You're going to pop another rift and keep doing your DB. Healing rift's got 6 seconds, right? But this phase is just about done. Look, my relic isn't quite spawned, but he's weak. So I finish him off. I clean him up with mint. We get a little too weak here, but double arc resist saves me. And I think I was trying to overcommit for ammo a little bit. So my advice is probably don't try to overcommit for ammo. But I will be honest, arc resist is why we survive there. So it's sort of counted for. That's why you need arc resist concussive dampener. If you don't run resistances, you will more likely die. That's why I run correct resistance all the time. Second phase, you haven't got as much special, but you've got a super. As soon as you get super, then you pop it. And you're going to focus more on ability damage and DB with your super. By all means, you can do extra mint rocket damage if you've got it, but you're mainly just doing damage with the super and Dragon's Breath, look. You can activate more Wyvern Gazes as well if you want, and then we're going to go and rinse and repeat. So that's the first phase. That's good damage. It's decent. It's not perfect, but we didn't do any mistakes neither. Only slight mistake is I was trying to grab a special brick while trying to get the bomb, and that is nice, but it also is you're playing the risk every time you do that. You've got to be careful because those wave attacks at the boss are obviously quite threatening. But the double arc resist will help against all the extra additional snipers, and the concussive dampener will help against the boss's lightning strikes. Right, left or right, Vial Suppressor, find out where he is, and then go to middle, because you want to get both radiation guys at the same time. If you fail on that, you're going to need to do a second rotation. You need to do a map rotation. If you only take down one shield, and you've still got a radiation dude running around the map, you need to play properly then. You're going to have to map rotate, and that's not recommended. Try and do it right the first time. If you follow these rules and come back to middle and have a rift and have restoration, you're good. You just need to do the middle strat. If you have captains misbehave, well, they will misbehave if you don't have your positioning right. Your positioning influences the captains. We go for scanner, we're rinse and repeating, but it'll be a different number this time. We scan the 4 pillars, it's 4. There are 4 4s in this room. We're going to refresh restoration, pop scanner back in one of the podiums, right? Then we can go for operator, it's 4. Check your restoration timer left hand side. Yeah. And we want to shoot all the 4s. Now, you need to be familiar with the panels a little bit. I mean, it's not too hard to remember. But if this is your first ever time having a go at this boss, well, that's going to take you some time to learn the panels. But it's just familiarity. Once you're familiar with where all the 4s are, where all the 1s are, you're good. Yeah, it doesn't take that long to familiarise yourself with that. Right, now we go jump down. Preferably, before you jump down, just check your ammo count on glaive. Chances are you definitely have 11 dB, because it's very easy to get Dragon's Breath ammo now, because of ammo counters. But glaive ammo, do check it. If not, farm a bit of special ammo. It's nice having max special now. We're in blue room. Always get awkward pillar. Don't leave awkward pillar till last. I never do leave it till last. I want to outpanel the way we shoot them now. I'm very in depth. Bait, right, and coax the radiation captains round the map. That's what you need to be doing. So if they start to chase you and you're scanning, you don't have, like, we get first go here. Look at this. Look at this streamer look we're getting here. Look at this video. We're getting video YT look. Yeah, we sacrifice scanner here again. Don't worry, I start not doing that. But I've just went through. But I would have had more than enough time there to dunk scanner, then pick up the battery again. But like I say, we'll commentate that the next time it comes. I think I do it on this next phase, which I shouldn't have done. But at least we can explain to you how you do not sacrifice scanner if you want to, if you're feeling up to it. But you can see the plan's foolproof. If you do get weak while scanning, you've got a healing nade. You've got a guard on your glaive. Get that glaive guard up. If needed, when you snipe and when you're going through the map. But yeah, getting 12 seconds of restoration on one single melee kill is nuts. That's why we went with this. Okay, I'm forgetting scanner. See, it's easy to forget. It's easy to forget, but he spawns here. If you go in a room and there's no scanner, well, obviously you need to go and grab it. It's the same for other symbols that you sacrifice. See, you're in a fire team and somebody's got operator and they sacrifice operator. You would need to go and get operator as well. If you get stuck on radiation, captains, be very careful. Always go in one motion. Never double back on yourself. When you're going from room to room, treat it as a racetrack. There's ways to get around it. You jump around the little hole up the stairs and you do that. You need to have an idea of how to coax these captains round the room. Right? Now establish your route, and before you do anything, think, wait, I've got operator on the right hand side, scanner's left, it's bottom left. So let's think about that before we rush this. What's the routing? Like, don't shoot off 4 pounds and be like, where's Scanner? I don't know where it is. Oh no, I've got sniped. And then it's a domino effect, and then you start to mess up when you're scanning. You've already lost 10 seconds because you didn't know where Scanner was. You see what I'm saying? You need to pre-plan. That's basically it. I get streamer luck again. How much luck are we getting with scanning on this? Now here we go. Right, if you do get good luck like that, as long as you coax your captains, you haven't got radiation, go and dunk your scanner again, then go back for the bomb because it's got 50 seconds on it, but you have got sector purge countdown. Look, 10 seconds. So I would have wiped there if I was 10 seconds slower, but it is feasible to save scanner. But I would tell you, if you think you're going to wipe when you're trying to kill your captain and you just get the battery and you're weak and you got radiation times 6, don't worry about scanner. Just sacrifice it. Because it's either you sacrifice scanner or you wipe and you have to start again. That's the harsh reality of it. It's not just a case of, well, I need to keep scanner at all costs. No, you need to stay alive at all costs. I didn't need to do that there on the run, but I'm explaining to you how you would go about keeping scanner. Okay, I changed surge swap early to activate Wyvern Gaze look so you don't waste time. Then melee, then DB, then Song of Flame. And you're going to use, same again, mostly ability damage. Because you want to get your Song of Flame done and used so that you can farm your next one. Don't just do melees. Throw in nades as well. Nade and melee. You want to use it more offensively rather than defensively. Yeah, then back up to the map. Once that Song of Flame's done, Healing Rift goes down. Boss will always be left. See his pattern? Wyvern Gaze him, DB him. You do want to scorch him a lot because you need another Rift. Look at Rift energy, bottom right, bottom left. Bait and switch rotation with Mint. Yeah. Then you're going to get a DB shot in middle when he spawns in the 2 captains. Yeah. When he spawns in the 2 captains, and pay attention if to one of them dies and you get, look, I've got a bomb. So I'm very confident now. I'm mid DPS. I look down bottom right, I see that there's a bomb. I'm happy. So I do a bit more DPS. Then the audio cue happens. Go when there's an audio cue. When he fires that flare up, that's what he does. When he fires his flare up, which is actually a very cool mechanic, I love it. Reminds me of Arc Raiders for some reason. When he does that, go for the battery. That's when you do it. And be mindful of the lightning strikes. You can be hit by a few of them, but not too much. Right, phase 2 of this, we go in with another DB, Wyvern Gaze shot, and then we're managing ammo. See, I haven't got much special left, but I'm making the most of it, because I've got him debuffed, so I'm doing more damage to him. I've got super, which I'm about to use now. I Wyvern Gaze first. Now, I get bullied here a little bit, and I don't recommend what ends up happening here. Let's just watch this. I'm doing good, I'm overcommitting a little bit. Look, the puppets are trying to push me off. So I end up losing damage here because of that. So that was, although not much. We lost 5 seconds of damage because of that. Right, but we did lose damage nonetheless. They bullied me off the map almost. So don't stay left of the map. You should jump on the oil tanker, which I end up doing on the next phase because we learned from that little mistake there. I mean, it's not like it's a mistake where we die. It's a minor mistake. A minor mistake to me and to you might be 2 different things. You might not see that as a mistake at all. You might think, oh, I survived. Whereas I look at it differently. I'm like, no, that was me, that's my position and what should not have been there. I didn't realise they would try to bully me like that. Now we rinse and repeat. Biosuppressor, middle strat, works like a charm. If you struggle, get that guard glaive up. Yeah, and make sure you get your restoration. Always pay attention to your buffs left hand side. Restoration is your big one. Because if you haven't got restoration, chance that you could die off that boss, yes, when he's sniping you. 2 rounds of radiation captain's luck. Then we got the glaive. See how this strat's working like a machine, like a cog and wheel. That's how I like it. That's how I approached all dungeon solo flawless content. I know this isn't solo flawless because we just got the checkpoint. But when I am solo flawless in a dungeon, whether it be Ghost of the Deep, Warlord's Ruin, Sundry Doctrine, I always like each encounter to be meticulously ran like a machine. In terms of even when we're dealing with combatants and what stat we have for each individual element of it. Because that confirms the run. That's how you start solo flawlessing. By having the run act like a machine rather than you just saying, well, maybe today, sir, I'll get the solar floors. Maybe I'll get it. Maybe I'll check a few videos out and I'll do it. No, that's wrong mentality. Look at your run, look at what you're doing wrong, and get a damn routine. Be methodical in your gameplay, especially for dungeons. It matters much more than maybe portal stuff, even conquest stuff. This matters much more. If you mess up on your captains, you're increasing the risk of dying from radiation. Don't double back on yourself when you go down below. Treat the room as a race track. I mean down below. Because if you don't know, the rooms between left and right, you have hidden holes where you can go downstairs and loop back on yourself and stuff. So when captains are chasing you, you'll never get your radiation over times 7. Rare occurrences, it'll get to times 7. Never run the risk of getting to times 8, times 9, because radiation has a lingering effect. And if you get to times 9 and you think you're safe, it might go to times 10 and you wipe. You've got to dial in that movement down there. Right? Now, I'm farming ammo up here. I was farming it. The time to farm ammo is right there. You can farm it later on, but, you've got enough to think about. Get your full special. You'll always have full DB. Notice every time I never have to manage DB ammo. I'm always getting it. Because I've got Solar Scav on. Solar Scav Kings. Yeah? Solar Scav is giving me a lot of confidence because I don't need to think about DB. You understand? Dragon's Breath. That's what DB means. It's an acronym for it. Blue Room. Blue Room's easier. There's a lot more cover, as we've said. A lot more pillars. The only awkward part is the panel. Just loop round, shoot it, and run away, of course. That's the only hard part about it. Remember, have a route in mind. So I need to go right, and then scanner is on my left. It could have been above me. But we predetermined my route, right? Pick up scanner, right? We're not getting streamer luck this time. Oh, I'm glad that guy. If you get a front guy that's scanner, that's the worst RNG. Front right, captain in that room is the worst possible one you can get. If you get it, use that guard glaive and use special ammo if needed at this time to get chill clip to proc. To melt down your captain quicker. So you see what I'm doing here this time? It's a lot more confirmed, see? In Blue Room, you're going to have an easier time anyways. So it's not a bad idea to try and manage scanner if you can. But like I've said, if you had to choose between am I going to die or do I need to sacrifice scanner, you just sacrifice scanner. It's an easy decision to make because scanner can get reobtained. The only thing about it is a bit annoying having to go and get it again, but at least you're still fighting in the run. Okay, second wing of the room. So you can see now, if you've watched the entire run up until this point, you can see the rhythm of it now, right? Yeah. It's just you've got to get out of that mindset of trying to kill ads and stuff. I've played LFG in Best Source. I've seen what people can be like in here. They're trying to. I've seen this one dude. He started taking down the shields in this room with suppressor. Big no-no. Big no-no. You should not have anybody on suppressor duty during this phase of the fight. If anything, you should have people coaxing the radiation captains around the map. If you're doing suppressor in this room, you're doing it wrong. Look at that. Radiation times 7. But we get the guard glaive up. Yeah, we're getting bad RNG. Do you see the bad RNG here? But I can sacrifice scanner because we're on phase 2. That was a bit of bad RNG. But we had plenty of sector purge countdown. And the guard from the glaive coming very clutch. So even though I got a bit of bad RNG for once and I didn't get streamer luck, I was fine with the guard. The only thing was, though, the radiation captains were stuck on the actual captain I needed to kill. But the chill clip come in clutch because it was bypassing the immunity from the radiation shields onto the actual target I need to kill. That's why this roll's incredible. Like I say, rake angle and refusal of the call and the strand glaive is available via Zer's loophole and he is in the tower right now. But you should have a kinetic glaive. I mean, what you're playing at not having one? If you don't have a kinetic glaive, tell me why that is. Because that's absolutely madness. Surge swap. Like a machine, withering gears. solar melee, DB, try and stick them. Yeah, Song of Flame, and then waste both grenade and melee. Put a bit of extra DB shot, activate a Withering Gaze while you're in Song of Flame. You can do that. And then do more ability damage. Look at the damage we're doing. We're cooking them. We're cooking them, look. Then you go back to the map. Do not pop Rifting Super because you're using it now. You want it now. Right, check bosses right hand side. Yeah, Withering Gaze, DB, bait and switch bottom corner. We've got it procced. If you haven't procced bait and switch, well then proc it. Yeah, make sure that you're doing it because you're throwing 35% damage away or whatever. Copies come in. Get a DB shot in middle. It's worth it. And then get that reload as well. Just reload it. Because you're gonna want to. I know DB reloads itself, but do a manual reload at that certain instance. We get weak here. A healing aid comes in clutch. That's why we've got it on. So if you do get extra weak in your rift, boom, healing aid. Right, we've got ammo. We're playing a little bit for the biscuit. Risk it for the biscuit a little bit. Too much. See, the alluring of ammo. Ammo's in mid. I want you to go and get it. And then I wipe on the run. You know, I was playing a little bit too risky there for ammo. But I knew that I would come out. You know, my shield's broke, yes. But we was a second or two away from death. So it was risky, but it wasn't as risky as what it looks. It looks very risky, but you know, you're seeing green, you're seeing purple on the floor, you're like, oh, I want to go and get it. You know, because I was like, can I kill the boss here? So I started to get greedy. So I was like, can I solo free phase on this? And you can. If I wasn't bullied on phase 2 or 3, was it phase 2? If I wasn't bullied on phase 2, I would have solo free phased this boss. Look at his health, which is incredible because this strat revolves. It doesn't revolve around high skill prismatic gameplay. I'm going to speed up the footage here because you've seen everything. I've showed you. I've explained every single mechanic in great detail. Someone had a go at me the other day about mechanic explaining in Sundred Doctrine. Let me just tell you, this is the best place to get mechanic breakdown, at least dungeon, in depth, in combination with combatant gameplay. There's nobody else offering this level of in-depth. Because it's too hard. It's very stressful on the voice. It's difficult. We're moment-to-moment gameplay. Look, I explain entirely what the mechanics are. You just need the patience. Don't blame me for your lack of patience. You need to get more patience for this game. I'm sorry that there's bad politics going on at the minute. I'm sorry that there's an overwhelming amount of negative people. But who cares? You need a gun, and that's called Icebreaker. And that is overwhelmingly more important than any other news article or post or toxic Twitter post that you can read or see about. What matters is you. Look after yourself. That's what I do. I don't care about politics. I don't care about this or I care about that. All I care about is, right, what do people want? What do people need? What are they looking for? Oh, people need Icebreaker and they still need it now. Oh, I see a good opportunity for a good video. That's all I care about. I'm not bothered about damn politics. It's 2025. There's enough politics in this world. You're going to introduce that to a video game as well? Let people post politic content. Let them, all the best to them. Leave them to it. But you, if you're a person that needs positivity and you need mechanics explaining, I do all of that. I just do side jokes on the side. I'm giving you your bread and butter and a couple of jokes with it. What's wrong with that? Do you want me to be down the line and be boring? Well, today here we have a Sundred Doctrine Solo Flawless Boss CP done for Icebreaker. We use deterministic weapons to finish this clear in a frivolous way. We executed everything perfectly in this run. Do you want it like that? There's no way you want it like that with no personality. Come on, lads. You want some personality. No personality, then there's no individualism. No individualism, no video. Then you're like everybody else. See, now we're getting into a bit of philosophy here. Right. I've sped the footage up, like I said, because I've explained this mechanic how many times. We don't need to make sure of anything, do we? The boss has 10% left. So I don't need to. But I'm a machine. I'm going to do what I did every time, no matter what. DB, fire melee. Celestial Fire or whatever it's called, Song of Flame, and we finish the boss off. That's how you solo farm Icebreaker. Hope you enjoy. Thank you. This video is going to show you how to solo farm the exotic sidearm Buried Bloodline. Code from Bungie. Removed weekly lockout and exotic weapon rewards in legacy, raid and dungeon activities. These now have a chance to drop each time their source encounter is completed, which for most of the exotics, well all of them, the dungeon exotics, is the final boss checkpoint of that dungeon. In Buried Bloodline's case, it's Warlord's Ruin. You're going to go into Destiny2checkpoint.com and grab a checkpoint off that site. Make sure you follow their terms of service. You will not break Bungie's terms of service by using this site because Bungie are aware that you use it. So use that website to get the final boss checkpoint of Warlord's Ruin in order to start your farm. Once you beat it, you can get the checkpoint again or share it with a friend to grab it off of them again, or better yet, farm it with them. You can farm this solo or fire team, but I'm showing you how to farm it solo, damn it. Why do you want Buried Bloodline if you haven't got it? Well, it's a rocket sidearm. It gives Devour to builds that might not have it, and it's got weaken on hit when you have Devour, and it's a rocket sidearm. Make no mistake, we are in a rocket sidearm and pulse rifle meta, and I've been in that since Final Shape days. It's incredible. So it's very important, if you don't have Buried Bloodline, you make this a task to get it before Renegades. It's a very important weapon of the game. Imagine Stasis Titan. You can pop Buried Bloodline on and give it Devour. Imagine Strand Warlock. You can give it Devour. Now, I know Festival Lost can give you Devour, but that ain't the point, because that's FOMO. That's a FOMO mod. That'll be gone in Renegades, and you can't crutch on Devour. You can't crutch on Devour Candy mod or whatever it is, right? So that's why you want Buried Bloodline. It's a very important weapon to the game. So we've said about the legacy dungeons. This is a very important point. Let me come away. This is important. I've made a couple of farms so far, showing you Icebreaker farm and Finality's Auger. Now, a couple of people have said to me recently that Sundra Doctrine is not farmable because it's not classed as a legacy dungeon. I'm here to tell you that it is classed as a legacy dungeon. Even though Sundra Doctrine is the most recent dungeon that we have got in the game, it is still legacy. The reason why it's still a legacy dungeon is because it launched before Edge of Fate. It launched with the year of Final Shape. It launched in that time period of 12 months. It launched before summer this year. It launched at the start of this year. I have had confirmation of other players that they farmed this up to 30 times and eventually got it last week. You can farm Sundra Doctrine for Finality's Auger. Don't let people tell you different. That is misinformation. But I will be honest, it's not their fault. It's badly displayed. People are thinking Sundra Doctrine is not a legacy dungeon. It is a legacy dungeon, therefore it is farmable, because in 1 month's time, you're going to get a new dungeon with Renegades, which will not be classed as legacy, which means you cannot farm that dungeon for the new exotic over and over, but you can farm Sundra Doctrine over and over. Because it's a legacy dungeon. It dropped with the Final Shape years of content, not Edge of Fate. Even though it's the latest one, we're due to get a dungeon. Do you understand it? This is very important, and that you take that piece of information away, because Finality's Auger is meta, and you need to make sure you also get that one before Renegades. That should be a tick box exercise for you. Right, so how do you go about farming it? Like I said, you grab the checkpoint off the D2checkpoint.com. I have give you a Titan solo farm for Finalities. I've give you a Warlock farm for Icebreaker, and we're going to do a Buried Bloodline farm on Hunter. Yeah, and this is what we went with, because I've got a special strat for this that's very easy to pull off, and it's no headache at all, and it's consistent. You can do this every run. You will not do as much damage as Celestial Nighthawk and Prismatic Hunter. You won't. But there's a special start with this, and I'm excited to show you it, because there's a bit of new tech with this. A little bit of new tech, something that I didn't know until before today. Right, so weapons. We're going with Lost Signal. You need a grenade launcher of some sort. I have a Lost Signal or Festival Flight. I was aware that people don't have Festival Flight because they were away on their holidays during solstice. Bear in mind, you missed the best solstice ever. Use lot who don't have Festival Flight. Anyways, just use Lost Signaling instead. I am being kind to you by using Lost Signal in this video. Do you realize how kind I am to you? I've got Festival Flight. I can go boom. I can just go boom, pop it on. And then people say, oh, I can't do the run. He's got Festival on. No excuses now. I've got Lost Signal on. Got Lost Signal on. You need DOT on. We're using the Speed Loader Slack Strand Dive build. You need DOT on. Then use the Solar Primary of your choice. Same thing with Yeartide. I'm being kind to you. You don't have Yeartide. Well, then we can just use Mini Tool because it's farmable right now. And I used Mini Tool in this. And finally, the Exotic Heavy Sleeper Simulant, which it gets Edge of Fate gear bonuses, and there's some artifact mods that enhance this weapon. It's a very good pick on this one. Very consistent and easy to farm ammo. Very easy. Because I was doing this strat with a Horde, bait and switch, Outrageous Fortune. However, it was good, but the ammo on it was lackadaisical. It was a lot of work to farm ammo up. But if you don't have Lost Signal or Festival Flight, you can use this strategy instead. But I'm going with this instead because it's just more consistent for ammo. It's very easy because, well, we'll go through that. Now, we've got two builds. We've got a run-and build and a DPS build. So the hunter you see before you, this is a deadbeat strand hunter that's down on his luck. And then you've got a DPS king build here, a monkey king DPS build. So you got monkey king, deadbeat hunter. Monkey king, deadbeat hunter. Do you see it now? Are you getting it now? Why you need to make two different builds? I'm trying to break down skill by assimilation with you. I'm trying to break down the barrier of my knowledges to yours. Deadbeat Strand Hunter, Monkey King. Right? There you go. So, run and build. Armor mods. So you go, they're there. Not too much I need to go into. I've got a Devilish Harmonic target on because I'm flexing. Don't even need it. There's an ammo generation mod on. So the reason why I've got that on, that adds plus 20 to a weapon. So I'm 80 on Mini Tool with abundant ammo. So that will max me out at 100 ammo generation with one solar generation ammo mod on. You'll rarely see me do this. I'm doing it though because in Warlord's Ruin you don't get hit hard. So you're allowed to do this type of stuff. But in Conquests and Ultimate Conquests, you should never do this because you lose a resistance. But in this one, you can absolutely do that. Just rock a void resistant and concussive dampener with that as well. So obviously Speed Loader Slacks, Aspect Fragments, Marksman's Dodge, Threaded Spike, Grapple Grenade, Threaded Spectre, Ensnare and Slam, Fragments are Threaded Generation, Wisdom, Mind, Warding and Continuity. Right, now we go into Monkey King. Oh, just stats on this, hang on a minute. So, high class ability stat on your run and build. The higher class ability, the more overshield you get on slams. So, just put that class ability stat really high. But on DPS, you don't need it that high. About 125 is enough, and a higher weapon stat, because you're doing DPS. Pop on a lot of fonts and surges. So, I've got triple solar weapon surge on the boots. I've got double class font to buff up that class font, that class stat a little bit more than what that 125 is. Because that adds 40. That's 165 class now. And I've upped the weapon stat instead. Right? And yeah, that's literally everything that needs to be said about that, really. Artifact mods, Fever and Chill and Radiant Shrapnel are going to help out Sleeper Simulant DPS in this. Discount on Scavengers, and that's mainly what that matters with artifact mods, the builds. So yeah, that's literally everything that I can... trying to think if there's anything else. So yeah, you've got your run and build, your DPS build. He's an alternative, like I said. I've covered the artifact mods. I've explained about why you need Buried Bloodline. And also you can farm Finality's Auger because Sundra Doctrine is a legacy dungeon, as I've explained already. Okay, so on with the run. So here is that easy solo farm for Buried Bloodline on a hunter, and it's very consistent and pretty much anyone can do this, providing that you follow along. Yes, you can do more damage with Celestial Knight or Prismatic, yes, but I have a different alternative strat that's all round very nice for this. For players who are struggling here, you won't on this build. So just keep suspending and heal clip with your SMG of choice that you're using. Get a nice suspend on the two wizards if you can to take them down nicely. And then start dealing with the taken eyes. Deal with the taken eyes. You're going to get 2 taken Scorn captains in, right? And you're going to start taking out some of the Scions. Do a little bit of damage to the Scorn captain on left or right, up to you. But I like left captain. For some reason, I always go left. Go left and do a little damage to him. Wait for him to spawn in a taken trap. You're going to kill him with your super. Then you're going to do a suspend. Look at this. Hex. You get a debuff, a poison debuff. You can suspend the taken guy, melee guy who chases you, and melee him with your super to get rid of the buff. Do you see how good that is? Then you go to right hand side, get the right cap point, do a surge switch, Imminent Wish runs out, then we do another dodge for overshield, and then we whip out sleeper plus lost signal damage. Yeah, then we do another dive, look at the overshield, and we do 8 sleeper shots, precisely 8 sleeper shots and some lost signal damage woven into that DPS. I'll explain this again, so that went a little quick. I was a little quick on that first wave. Then swap back to your run and build. Swap back to the run and build and wait for your armor charges to depreciate. If you pick up any more orbs, your armor charge will keep going and you won't get rid of the timer. You need the timer done so that you get the timer back for the next phase and the next phase and so on and so forth. You need to pay attention to ammo drops. Now I've got 15 shots with a brick there on the floor. I'm going to leave that brick if I need it for later. If I need it, it's an opportunity. I don't need to pick it up. I'm maxed at 16. It would be a waste if I picked it up. So you want to try and suspend the 2 wizards, at least one of them. They might be spread out now though. But it's fine. Go in with the suspends. Look at all the orbs of power I'm making. You're going to get a super back. Your goal is to get a super back and farm up ammo again. Yeah, which we've already got 16. This is very good on ammo economy, Sleeper. Because you're not using that many shots, but you're doing a lot of damage per shot. That's what's so good. And it's very consistent with DPS. So shoot the eyes down. Get prepared. Plate 2, you fight right side. Right side's easier than left. So fight right. Start DPSing slightly. Little chunk damage to the Scorn Captain. Wait. He spawns in an extra trap if you're patient. Then you pop super. Pop it. That's what it's there for. And keep diving for overshield. Look. Cap your 2 both Scorn points. The captain comes over. Boom. Slam him. Then get rid of the debuff with a light swing. Yeah, then go to your next Scorn capture point. And look, we keep getting our overshield. You see how tanky we are on this? Then do surge switch. Yeah, because we can. Do another suspend to get rid of the sounds to your left so you can DPS safely. There is a way to DPS differently to this that's even safer than this, but you get less damage. Where I'm DPSing from, you'll get more damage. You can jump past the boss on top of the next platform. But on my build, you don't even need to do that. You can just literally tank all the enemies and keep diving and keep DPSing. As long as you do your 8 sleeper shots per plate, you're doing just fine. Very easy, right? Not threatening. The most threatening part about Warlord's Ruin Final Boss is that captain, the poison captain. I have eliminated on how dangerous he is by shackling him. I keep suspending him. He can't chase me anymore. Do you understand how important this is? I didn't know about this till today. Like in this exact fashion. I haven't seen anyone do it like this in this exact way. Have you? Tell me. Tell me if you have, because I haven't. And I never give this a thought. I happened to be playing in Warlords Ruin and I was like, oh, I shackled the guy. Hang on a minute. And then I started to develop the idea from there. You see how it works? Because we don't need a super on the boss. We could have went Nighthawk, Prismatic, yeah. But we don't need to. We've got the damage covered with Sleeper. What the problem for people, not for me, but for people, is that they can't survive the poison captain, don't you understand? It's not DPS that's the issue. Well, it can be a bit of issue with them, yeah. But it's the poison captain. They died to debuff. The captain's chasing them. There's a game of cat and mouse. Well, there's none of that with this. That's why this is so important. Very, very easy. Right, now, same thing. We go for left captain, though. Left captain's easier than right on plate 3. So we're just going to do a little bit of damage with lost signal. Just a little bit. We're waiting, although he's taking his time. So we may have to kill him. Yeah, that may happen. If he's wasting your time doing much, you're just going to have to kill. You'll end up getting less DPS time, but that's fine. Because you can get more over the other side. We suspend that poison captain, and we've gotten rid of debuff. We nearly get 2 extra cap points here, so we was unlucky. We got some bad luck, but we do enough damage anyways, because you get less time. Look, 5, 6, 7 seconds instead. But we still send the boss to the next plate. That's fine. We've lost a little damage there, yes, but we're going to make up for that. Look at all the bricks on the floor because of ammo generation. Because of Callous Mini Tool at 100 ammo generation start, we can make a lot of heavy in mid. We've still got surges left hand side. Still got surges. We go to plate 1 of top plates. And we're going to do a lost signal and 8 sleeper shots. Precisely 8. We get radiant. Yeah? Well, we actually done 7 there. He went before I shot my 8th. Now you're going to swap back to run and build because you got Solar Scab on. You got Solar Scab on and you've run out of surges anyways. Go for the ammo. Yeah? Because you don't need to start plate 2 or 3 until you're ready. You can go for ammo on previous plates. Same again. Lost signal. Dive, 4 shots, dodge for another dive, another overshield, and do another 4 shots. Do you see how safe this is? There's no ducking and diving. There's no RNG elements to, oh, the boss might catch me, he might not. I'm trying to snipe the boss. Whatever loadout you're running, and you get caught off guard. There's none of that with this, because you've always got a back shield. You've always got a back pocket overshield that's got DR in it. Do you understand how incredible this build is? I think, Hunters, honestly, you're so sleepy on this, lads. Honestly, every time I show a Warlock and a Titan a meta build, you just take it. They accept it. They're like, oh yeah, this is powerful, man. And every time with a Hunter, it's been like this for the last 5 years, lads. It's getting beyond a joke with Hunter mains. I honestly think most of you are just playing PvP. I really do think it. Come on, Hunters. This is one of the best builds in the game. It's incredibly powerful at what it does. It's doing many, many different things. Add clear, survivability, and sustain damage with extra DR. You could honestly DPS Vesper's host final boss with this build. That's how strong it is. And that is the trademark, by the way. That's the benchmark. If a build can solo sustain DPS against Vesper's host Puppeteer, then that build is very well meta at what it does. So, same thing, we're rinsing and repeating. We're waiting for the Scorn Captain. He gets weak. That's fine. We can finish him off with super. We got our debuff. Captain spawns on our heads. That's good. We can shackle him. Boom. Debuff's gone. And he will remain shackled. Because I've got the fragment on to increase shackle. Then we can go for right side Scorn point. I keep suspending him, staggering him. Yeah, we've got a back pocket. We get weak here, but look, we know he was going to get weak. Boom, overshield goes in. Just make sure you crits, but sometimes the boss looks away at your clone. Sometimes you might miss a crit or two, but that's okay. You can see how easy it is though, right? But yeah, you can go up top. I know I'm going to get comments about that. You can DPS up top. Yes, you can. What you're going to realize when you do that, if you DPS up top with the cheese, there's a cheese. If you do that, you get less damage. So my strat doesn't, it's unnecessary to do it because you've got it in your kit to sustain the damage. You've got it in your kit to tank the Scions. You will suspend them anyways. It's part of the strat to reload Sleeper anyhow with the dive because of marksman's dodge. So there's no need to go up top. I was one of the first to see that, to show you that strat. When Warlord's Rune came out, I showed you that strat. If anyone remembers, most of you don't remember the lead strat. But it's unnecessary these days. We don't need it. We can out-tank the ads. We don't need it. Many builds can just out-tank them. Heal Clip just does a tremendous job as well of surviving. Plate 2, rinse and repeat. We need to take care of right side. Right side is a lot more cover, right? A lot more cover. He's weak. He's messing me about a little bit. There we go. He gets it in. He gets that extra Scorn trap. And then we can go. You pop your super. As soon as he spawns his trap, you just pop your super. Look at this. It makes the entire encounter a hell of a lot easier for people. Because it's what we've got to realise is we've got to come up with a strategy for people. It's not a strat for me. I've already got Bay Bloodline. Why do I need to commit to it? It's you that needs to commit to it, because you're the one without Bay Bloodline, not me. I've had it for 2 years or whatever, however long this dungeon's been out, I forget. I've had it since then. I had it since week 1 of the dungeon. I got it. Yeah, I'll tell you this, you won't like this. I've had Berry Bloodline since my first ever solo flawless of this dungeon. It dropped right away for me. I didn't even do any triumphs. I got it right away. So I've had it a long time. I just enjoy Warlord's Ruin though. I enjoy this final boss fight. I really like it. I just like the way it's designed. Its DPS mechanisms is different to everything else. I do like it. And it's very favourable for DPS timers and such. Which that's a good thing sometimes, I think. Having short DPS windows for every boss ever isn't always a good thing, you know. You can beat D2 players down too much with that. And this boss fight doesn't. It doesn't beat you down with unfavourable DPS timers. What it does beat you down with, or can, is the Poison Captain. But like I said, I've got a strat for you. If you're somebody that struggles with that, I've got a strat for you. But yeah, you can see Heal Clip plus Overshield is allowing us to tank everything. We'll take down the eyes. Don't take the eyes down though until you're comfortable with ammo. If you're low on ammo or something for some reason, then farm up ammo here. There's no problem in doing that. But chances are, if you're rocking 100 ammo stat on an SMG, you're going to have all the heavy ammo in the world. This is one example where it's decent. But remember, we're fighting at power. So that's not a problem. Yeah. My only ever problem with ammo generation mods is that they take up resistance mods. And that presents a problem on Ultimate Conquests and minus 40 content. I'm not going to say minus 30 because someone will argue with me over that. But you get what I'm saying. DPS stats, we can jump on this top ledge. But what you can do before the timer runs out is pop down. So jump off quickly. It starts the next phase up if you don't. It'll actually initiate that plate. So I would suggest at 1 second, just jumping down, because you want to get ammo. You want to get the ammo to get, you'll have ammo down there to grab. We send the boss immediately away, because obviously we're on this final phase, and just look at how aggressive we can play. I'm gonna go right close, just to prove a point. Look, I'm 2 meters off him. I'm not bothered at all about his void attacks. Just sleeper his mouth right off. There you go, look. That's how you solo farm Berry Bloodline. Make this a task. This one, Icebreaker and Finality's Auger, should be a check mark list of things that you do before Renegades. You've got 4 or 5 weeks here, so make the best of your time with it. This video is going to show how to solo farm for the exotic trace rifle, the Navigator, which is available via the Ghost of the Deep final boss checkpoint. You can get a checkpoint from Destiny2checkpoint.com. This final video is going to round out my Dungeon Exotic series, covering every farmable Dungeon Exotic in the game, and this is the final one. I have not covered Xenophage, Galahorn and Wishender, as those particular 3 exotics require Dungeon Exotics, which I don't have those, Dungeon Exotic quests, which I don't have the quests, because I'd done the quests 4 or 5 years ago on most of these exotics, right? So if you're lacking those 3 Dungeon Exotics, you need to do the quest for them. I'm focusing on the farmable Dungeon Exotics that are available from final boss checkpoints, and this is the final one to do, Navigator. Reason why you want Navigator is because simply it's very good for grapple melee builds, but it is a one-dimensional exotic. It's only got really one purpose in the game, but what it does in the game is quite amazing. Make sure if you haven't got Navigator that you make it a task to get it before Renegades. Navigator has always been within the meta, providing that grapple melee is very strong, and there's been many times where Navigator plus grapple melee has been broken in the game, and it is still technically broken in the game right now in terms of damage. So that's why you want to get it. So we're gonna come over the farm. So as you noticed, I've been doing like Titan Warlock Hunter, and we're following that theme. We're gonna round out this series on a Hunter run, and this is a very good build. In actual fact, it's tremendous. This is my Robin Hood build. I rob from the rich to give to the poor. That's what we're doing with this. right? We're putting dungeon bosses in body bags. And I have done. I've went on a bit of a rampage for the last week. We've put a lot of dungeon bosses in the cemetery, in the graveyard. Yep, this is incredible. There's a lot to be said about this, right? So we need two different builds. We need a run and build and a DPS build. Let's get the basics out of the way. Aspects and fragments, Silk Strike, Marksman's Dodge, Grapple Melee, Threaded Spectre, Ensnare and Slam. Fragments are Thread of Generation, Wisdom, Mind, Warding and Continuity. Pairing that with the exotic boots, Speed Loader Slacks for a tremendous amount of class ability regen on Slam. Or when you dive, Bomb with Strand Hunter. So I'm sure you're aware of it by now. Here are some armor mods just to quickly go over it. Double Arc Resist Concussive is highly recommended for this. Pop on some Scavengers because, well, it's kind of a long dungeon, although we'll talk about the length of it. It's not too bad nowadays. Healthy Finisher needs to go on so that you sustain armor charges. We've got some loaders on. We've got a Devilish Harmonic PvP target mod on because I want to flex a little bit. Heavy Ammo Finder's nice. Solar Siphon for orbs, and we're making orbs with our Suspend build also. Stat wise, high DR. Remember, the higher your class ability stat, the more DR you get. Overshield is tied to damage resist. You will get damage resist with Woven Mail and the Overshield. So, rocking a very high class ability stat is never a bad thing on the build that I'm running. And that's really all there is to it. That's why it's so simple. Probably rock a close to 100 super stat, but that's not required either. So all you need for this build, this is why I love it, is just high weapon, high class. High weapon, high class with a bit of super, that's it. It's all you want, right? And we'll come on to weapons in a minute. Then we come to our DPS situation. Now the stats change a little bit, where we really are prioritizing more weapon stat because we want to solo free phase the final boss that goes to the deep, and this will allow it. This will allow it. Right, with a high weapon stat and not as high class ability stat for DPS, but high enough so that we don't wipe. Yeah, and 140 is probably the sweet spot. So we've got some fonts on. A class font will give me more DR, right? Damage resists. That'll pump up class ability stat to 160. And we're rocking triple strand weapon search, double arc resist concussive. You need that on for DPS. And that's really all there is to it for that. Elemental time dilation improves the amount of surges that they last longer. There's a lot of DPS time at the final boss. It's 45 seconds or so, I believe. So elemental time dilation really does help. Still obviously speed loader slacks. Now we'll talk on to weapons. So before I was rocking new exotic mint on run and build, mini tool, a heel clip primary, and then submersion, a legendary combat bow or a crossbow. When we surge switch, we do swap primary to Wyvern Gears. That adds a 15% weakening effect. And this is a nice weapon pairing. So, reason why we're using exotic variant of mint is because the ammo travels longer across the DPS phase. You will run out of mint retrograde ammo in this if you spam it. So, it's better to use the exotic version of it. But, what you pair it with in the heavy slot, if you don't have submersion at all, just rock a hiatus of your choice. I'm not saying that these rolls are the ones you use. I'm saying whatever favourite strand rocket you've got, you use with this to combine with this. But this is where context comes. This is where the awesomeness of the bow synergizing with my Robin Hood build makes it amazing, right? Autoload Ulster Chill Clip, I believe to be the best roll on this combat bow, right? I really do think that. But there's more to it than just that. There's all these different stats. To be honest, I need to make a dedicated combat crossbow video, which I will. I'm just waiting on a couple more crossbows to do more tests. But the main takeaway from this is I've got charged bolts on. Bolts attached to targets deal damage over time. This is critical. This is insane. If you get a charged bolt submersion, do not delete it for anything. Because it's got a good interaction with speed loader slacks, and it'll have good interactions with other things in the game as well, I imagine. But with this, it allows us to keep reloading it, yeah, and it puts out some impressive damage in combining with Exotic Mint. So you'll just see how good it is. Let's come over to the artifact mods. So what matters with this? Freddy Proliferation, Pack Tactics, Tightly Woven, Discount on Scavs, Fever and Chill, and Radiant Shrapnel for Mini Tool. Elemental Coalescence is nice, I suppose. Shield Crush is obviously nice. To note, Energy Acceleration does not work with Exotic Mint, but it does work with the regular Mint. And yeah, don't run Argent Quiver because you'll lose all your armor charges, by the way. Don't use that. That's critical that you don't lose surges like that. So that is the build information on what you need to know. Okay, so here is that Goes to the Deep Final Boss Checkpoint Solo Farm. Now, when Goes to the Deep first launched, if you remember, the boss fight solo on this, for most players would be 45 minutes, 50 minutes for some, when it first launched. It's not like that now. You can run through this final boss encounter in about 20 minutes, just over 20 minutes. Massive difference compared to what it used to be. So you want to start off with the moths in middle, which you can get rid of them with the SMG. And then what you want to do is work your way around the map getting these Arc Knights. Don't have Arc Knights up for DPS, just in case they catch you out. Now I'm using the crossbow, like I say. You know, serve this as a bit of a motivation for you to get it if you haven't, because the crossbow is insane, right? It's an incredible weapon. Reason why people don't know about it is just because, well, they haven't got it, some of them. It's quite rare, but serve this as motivation for you to get it. So, mechanics Goes to the Deep, let's focus. We've got Oryx's body on the map. You need to go to middle and deep sight activate. There will be 3 lit up areas. You need to go to an area that's lit up and kill a knight in that ritual circle. Never start the chain with middle. Now look at that trick. Do you see that trick there? Did you see that? I used Exotic Mint with the burst damage to shoot the moths immediate. Did you see it? Replay it if you missed it. And you're going to build the link. So you're building a chain, yeah? Basically around Oryx's body. You can never start at Oryx's ribcage. So there we go again with the detonation. So never start middle. The chain cannot start in middle. It has to start on the 2 other circles. So I had bottom hill and mid hill. That's just what I call it. Bottom hill, mid hill, top hill, weird hill to the left. And then, you know, whatever damn call out you want. You can see it though, right? You understand it. So we've quickly done that link, quicker than I can commentate on it, to be honest, because we just go through it that quick. We can melt the knight with either the crossbow or the rocket pulse, just destroys them. Make sure you kill that knight in the ritual circle. So you're building the chain, then you're looking for symbols. On the outside of the map there'll be symbols. So we have Sentinel here. Now we want to prep him because he is, I believe, Ice Cream Cone. So the symbol in middle was Ice Cream Cone. Now, I have a structure for this fight. Please don't go against my structure. If you do, go and watch someone else's video because I can't be bothered fighting on with you. I DPS from middle. Whatever the middle symbol is, you dunk last. So I also have another routine. There's 3 outskirts of the map. There's Sentinel, Solar Wizard, and Stormcaller, Storm Wizard. I go Sentinel, so let's just call it like this. Titan, Hunter, Warlock. Like for the Hive Guardians. I do it like that. Left, top, right. That's my routine. And I check the symbols. So I've got line here. So look, I can go and instantly take down that Hive Guardian with the crossbow and suspend him. Does massive damage. When we crush that ghost, you need to remember your symbol. It's not like the Rite of the Nine where that symbol stays up or whatever. This is the old version of it, right? And then what you want to do is deep sight in middle again. You've got Vestige of an Acolyte. And you're going to dunk that symbol in the corresponding symbol. So that's line. Some of you might call it burger. Whatever it is to you, just dunk the corresponding symbol. But if you don't dunk it quick enough, you will wipe. And if you dunk the wrong symbol, you will wipe. So now we're on to Warlock or the Storm Caller. Hive Guardian. Yeah? we kill him. I've already prepped Sentinel. I've prepped him. He's my last symbol because he's middle. And DPSing in middle is overwhelmingly better than DPSing anywhere else. So hope you get with the program on that. I'll explain it again on phase 2. So we've got Vestige of a Wizard. We can go in with an Overshield. DR, look at how easy this is to spend all the adds. We're very tank on this. This is a tank, very tanky Hunter build. It's probably one of the tankiest builds for Hunter in the game. Not in terms of full number, but in terms of uptime on Overshield, it's incredible. With Woven Mail, it really is. I can use a super here, although I should have waited a little bit, I suppose, for the final phase. But we're on the final symbol. Now we're doing more preparations here to make your life easier. The next preparation is that you need to understand the Acolytes spawn on a 45-second timer. If you kill the ads here and then go to Sentinel to get your last symbol and not wait for this particular spawn, your DPS might not be like mine in terms of ads. So there's a sweet spot timing with this. So the Acolyte spawn on a 45-second timer or so, right? So we're clearing a fresh wave here. So you want to leave for your final symbol shortly after the last wave of Acolytes were killed, a fresh wave. And if you haven't had a fresh wave, wait for a fresh wave, kill them, then go to your last symbol. Remember where that was. It could have been Solar Hunter. It could have been the Arc Stormcaller. For mine, it was Sentinel. So we come over to Sentinel. This is all a timing. This is a time manipulation on spawns. I've used this since it came out. What the upshot of doing all of this means that you won't have ads up during DPS. Only at the back end of DPS will you have ads alive, giving you and the boss quality time to see each other about a thing called DPS, right? That's what it's all about. See, look, I get a fresh wave just as I come out. Just as I come out, I get a fresh wave. That's perfectly timed. The only thing is I don't have a super. I'd have been better off using a super on this wave. But it doesn't matter. It's here or there. Because the Silk Strike is a throwaway ability. The reason why I'm using this build is to really showcase on how good it is at sustained damage and staying alive. Watch this. So you deep sight. We're going to surge swap here. Right? We're going to get a DR shield first. I'm going to Wither and Gaze the boss. I didn't activate the Imbue Light straight away, but that's fine, we do now. Yeah, we do get weaker than what I hoped. That's because we was messing around with the symbol. To be honest with you, I fell asleep on phase 1. But phase 2 and phase 3, I do really wake up. Look, I'm mantling stuff. I'm messing around too much on DPS here. But this DPS rotation is very good for this boss fight. I mean, I get pushed by Acolytes on this phase. I'm half asleep a little bit, and I still come out of it. Phase 2 and 3, I really do optimize and melt this boss, though. This is a solo free phase. A solo free phase with a special weapon plus a combat bow isn't half bad. Look at the survivability of this. Acolytes are pushing me in middle. I keep DPSing with the combat bow. Look at the damage we're doing. That's a sloppy damage phase. And we still solo free phase. Because I do overwhelmingly so much more damage on phase 2. Getting to R damage isn't a bad thing on any loadout. We pop super right after damage phase because we've got the liberty of doing that. Because Silk Strike is a throwaway ability, we can't Silk Strike the boss. But this build is honestly incredible for DPS. If people struggle to survive, solo and Ghost of the Deep. I highly recommend this build. Because the upshot is, you're using super for moments that you might die. Therefore, you're not supering the boss. You don't need to super the boss because you've got all the DPS in your weapons. You're running a high weapon stat for that. You've got constant overshields because the crossbow that I'm using has DOT in it. That allows for this playback loop with speed loader slacks to get my dodge back. And the crossbow does insane damage, well, quite good damage. Not insane, but quite good damage against the boss. It's a nice pairing with the rocket pulse. So we're on to our next phase of the chain, right? We're building the chain up, and then you've got to look through the whole. These are Witch Queen mechanics. You've got to look through the whole of the symbol to look through it. Make sure you get rid of your fresh knights. You don't want those up during DPS. We've got top here. I melt down the knight. We're doing it so quick, it's hard to commentate on it. Back in the day, like I say, average time for a solo on Ghost of the Deep, because the boss was so tanky, and the boss is still kind of tanky, by the way, would be about 50 minutes just for the boss fight alone. If any D2 vets are out there, they'll vouch for me on this one. Your average Ghost of the Deep solos were an hour and a half, an hour and 20 minutes. It was eventually got down to half an hour and 40 minutes by certain players. That's speedrun. But I'm on about average times here. I'm trying to explain to you that we've power crept Ghost of the Deep. Even though Ghost of the Deep is looked upon as a difficult dungeon, and it can be to some people, but man, the tables have turned since then, right? It really has, with what we've got. So yeah, whenever you're going for deep sight, you can do your dodge like that. The DR from the overshield will help you. We're going to dunk our symbol here. Remember, middle symbol is always to be saved for last, which for me is table. Or whatever symbol you want to call that. It's up to you. It's what you... A, free stripe A, what do you want to call it, son? What do you want? I'm not really bothered because I don't need to call you out because I'm soloing it. I don't need to call the symbol out to you because I'm not helping you in a run, am I? So what does it matter what I think about symbols if I'm soloing it? You get the point, right? But this is good, this is good with this book. So you can just go right at the top, get your Hive Guardian and kill him instantly with the bow, with the crossbow. Like I say, I'm going to do a dedicated video on the crossbow. I'm waiting on some more rolls because I need to do more testing with some other rolls of the crossbow before I give my final verdict on it. But this particular roll is very, very good for what I want on this Speed Loader Slack Strand Dive build. Because it's got DOT. It's got damage over time with charge bolts. Yeah. So we go for our deep sight. We're on second symbol. I'll grapple up here. We've got burger. Dunk burger. Remember, don't dunk the wrong symbol lest you will wipe. So you need to have you need to be thinking. Don't be asleep. Don't be asleep like I was on phase 1 for my DBS, which I was. I was mantling stuff. I was mantling Oryx's ribcage. Yeah, that's what I did. Play it back, you'll see it. I was doing all the wrong things, but just watch this next DPS phase. I promise you, please, you'll be impressed with it. Okay, we melt down the wizard too quick. I'm too ahead of myself. Obviously, you can recover your ammo with the crossbow as well, which is incredible. It's a combatant weapon, the crossbow. And this weapon adds nice damage to, special weapons that do tremendous amount of damage like Exotic Mint. It's a nice additive. Because it's all low and holster. But obviously we can reload it with this build as well. Okay, so now we need to do my prep. I let the wizard respawn, by the way, because I wasn't ready. We wasn't ready for DPS. Because as I said, the 45-second rule with the Acolytes. I've followed this rule now for... Well, since it came out, 3 years or however long this dungeon's been out, I've followed that 45-second rule because it gives you and the boss time to DPS. It means you won't be flinched out of damage. It's not the case of, well, will you survive the ads? That's not it. If Acolytes are flinching you out of damage, which is a problem on console, way more than PC, by the way, but if you are getting flinched out of damage, the trick that I'm showing you right now here will solve that. You're trying to use Sleeper on the boss. You're trying to use some linear fusions on the boss. And you can't crit the boss because the boss is wandering the streets. And Acolytes are coming over to see you. And you're getting annoyed. Well, all of that can be alleviated. This is more console particular. That's why sometimes solo floors and dungeons that are hectic are harder on console than they are on PC because of aim assist issues and because of flinch. Flinch is horrendous on console and has been for a long time. Not the same as what it is playing controller on Steam. It's not. I get a lot of people that talk to me and I can know by the way that you're talking that you're playing on a controller on Steam, which is completely different to just playing on PS5 or Xbox. Or if you're playing on mouse and keyboard. I'm saying that there's flinch issues in high add dense activities when you're trying to crit a boss. Would you not agree with that? You should do, because I know what I'm talking about. Lest I wouldn't make a video about it. We've prepped the final wizard. I've done the DPS trick. I'm a magician. Watch. Watch. Just watch. Room's clear. Look at this. It's X-Files. Yeah? Where's the acolytes? Where are they going to go? Are they going to pop up? And by the way, don't time this wrong, lest your vestige of light will run out and you'll wipe. You've got to have that timing behind you with it. Look, there we go. There you go. There they are. The miraculous acolytes. So now we've got time to get rid of them. We can use a disposable super. We can use a disposable silk strike, making it easy for players. So you can just super all these acolytes and keep dodging, keep making clones, keep getting over shields. You can reveal while you've got a DI. You can go in your menu. You can have a cup of tea. You can have a sandwich. Look at how good it is, right? Then we wither and gaze the boss. Then imbue with light. Then crossbow. Then all rocket pulse. Look, we instantly take that shield down. That's very good, that. Yeah, I know Arbalest is good for this fight, but so is this loadout. So look, this is optimal damage. Watch this. So we're going to keep going with the crossbow. Crossbow's hitting stupid hard on this. It's hitting really well. It's nice additive damage, and it keeps giving me my dodge back because it's DOT charge bolts. Look at that. So we're doing more special ammo. Special surge is about to run out. I need to spend more special ammo before the damage phase is ending. Was doing very well. Keep oscillating between the heavy and the special. Look at this damage. There you go, Robin Hood loyalists. Look at the damage. That is very, very good damage against this boss. That's not nothing. That's something. Now I'm going to speed up the footage from here because I've explained the mechanics, right? And we've just explained it all, haven't we? You know, so to reiterate, you've got to build a chain in middle. Kill your knights while you're standing in the hive ritual. You can never start with Oryx's ribcage. It has to be another body part of his. And that's how you do it. And you use the Witch Queen mechanic of looking through a hole to get a symbol like so. And you're building the chain. It's just 3 symbols. Then you get 3 symbols. Those 3 symbols correspond to Hive Guardians, whether it be Sentinel, the Solo Hunter one, or the Stormcaller. And that's what you do. You can use disposable supers, keep shackling, keep using your heal clip primary. Get rid of your free fresh knights, because they will bother you during DPS if you don't. Get rid of them. If you've got the crossbow, you can use it and pick up the ammo again. And it one-shots all of those. Nearly one-shots a Hive Guardian. Nearly one-shots a Hive Guardian, which is crazy. It's crazy compared to how we used to struggle with Hive Guardians. By the way, do respect Sentinel. Sentinel is the most dangerous Guardian out of the 3. You might like to disagree with that, but I don't think so. He can push you off the map. Sentinel can push you off the map. He's the most dangerous. The Solo Hunter is a little dangerous, but only a little bit. The Stormcaller is easily the weakest of the 3. But yes, Sentinel, you've got to be careful with him. Don't respect him. He can still, even if he can't kill you in one shot now, he can still knock you off the map. I've seen clips of it in the past. I've been pushed off by him years ago. And tell you what, when that happened, I never let him push me off the map again. Because I give him respect. So, yep, you know what? You're a good little Hive Guardian. I'll make sure to optimize you every time I come to you. That's the Sentinel. Give Sentinel respect. That's my word of advice for you in this encounter. That's probably the biggest piece of advice you can take away. But you can see how easy this is, right? It's not difficult at all. And this was known as one of the harder dungeons to solo. Let alone solo flawless. So you can see we're just mowing through it because Heal Clip's incredibly powerful in the game. Yeah? And I'm running a very powerful build, bear in mind, as well. So we are making it look maybe easier than what it is. Because the build's doing tremendous. I'm having a lot of fun, don't you understand? This is a very, very good build. This Hunter Speedload Slacker build, there's so many different combinations you can do with it. I would estimate there's at least 50 variations of this build. 50! Come on, Hunters. Get with the picture. Start using meta stuff. Stop messing around on Night Stalker. Stop messing around on rubbish classes. Start using good classes. Yeah, that's my advice for Hunters. We get rid of the final Guardian, which was Sentinel. Sentinel was the last one. He's my middle symbol. Don't worry, we'll slow the footage down for DPS. But that territory is well within a solo free phase. Right, well, we will kill him easily at this point. Make sure you got your armor surges. Make sure you got full ammo, of course. Yeah, we do our surge switch. We proc Wither and Gears before, then we imbue. Yeah, that optimizes damage. Look at the amount of damage we're doing to his shield. Straight away. Right off the rip. Because of Wither and Gears in combination with Chill Clip, DOT Bolt, plus the detonation damage off the pulse rifle, it melts his shield, meaning that we don't need Arbalest. Yeah, and look, we can just do sustained damage. Look, we get weak. We know we're going to get weak. We know we're going to get weak because we got our class ability back. Look, same thing again. Boom. It's like a healing rift. Don't you understand it, hunters? Yous have complained for years not having a rift. Well, you've got one here, look. We melt. We're chunking them at this. Make sure you finish the boss's ghost off, and that is how you solo farm for Navigator or any Ghost of the Deep weapons that you might want or need. Well, maybe not need. But anyways, that's the video on this. Hope you enjoy. Thank you. This video is going to show you how to solo farm the exotic bow hierarchy of needs. Continuing this dungeon exotic solo farming series. We're near the end of it. After this video, I've just got to do Navigator for Ghost of the Deep, and this series is complete. I'm not going to cover Xenophage, Galahorn, or Wishender because you need to do a particular dungeon quest for each of them to get it. I've done those dungeon quests a long time ago, and I cannot replay those dungeon quests, so I'm just covering the dungeon exotics that are farmable via a final boss checkpoint. So, hierarchy of needs, drops from Inspire the Watcher. You're going to need a final boss checkpoint. You can get that from Destiny2Checkpoint.com, or get the checkpoint from a friend. Farm solo or in a team, up to you. Hierarchy of Needs did drop from the Right of the Nine dungeon event, so I'm assuming that you've missed that and you haven't got it. So this is aimed at players who just haven't got the bow. Hierarchy of Needs got a buff in Edge of Fate, and the guidance rings are different now to what they used to be. I'll solo something with Hierarchy of Needs at some point in the future, so I'm not going to cover too much about the bow and how it works. Just, this is how to farm it. It is better than what it used to be, and it is an interesting weapon for sure. It is a weapon worthwhile getting for sure. That's what I'm trying to explain. So, we're choosing to be on Warlock for this farm. So we've got a run and build and a DPS build, of course. Let's cover the run and build. We're going with Dawn Chorus. He's the armor mods. Arc resistant, void resistant, concussive dampener is recommended for this because of Harpies. The boss and the Harpies do arc damage to you as well. It is actually quite important you get your resistances correct for this. Even though it's not like -40 or something, I recommend that you do. I've got double heavy ammo finder on because I've got to farm a lot of heavy ammo for this, but it's a very good strat. Healthy finisher to sustain the armor chance. I got double solar scav on. I was just testing to see if there was any bugs. There isn't. Don't worry, scavengers don't stack, although there is some weapons in the game where scavengers do stack. More information about that at a later date. I've found something out, but I'm not telling you what that is today. It's not revolving around solar scav either. So, yeah, that's our run and build. It's based around, we're just using Dawn Chorus. We're going stock with this. We could have run other exotics. Weapons, Witherhoard, and a solar primary of your choice. If you want to use Yertide, you are allowed to use Yertide. Ahab Char is also good. Any heal clip primary will serve you well. But you want a good weapon that you're shooting fuses with also to consider. And finally, Outrageous Fortune. Recommended roll for that is Envious, Arsenal, and Bait and Switch with spike grenades. I've got mini frags, but I was fine without it. But spike grenades would do a little bit more damage, because it does add a bit more impact damage to the total damage. But as long as you got Envious, Arsenal, Bait and Switch, right, you're going to be doing tremendous amounts of damage. This weapon is fantastic for dungeons. Not very good for a lot of portal activities, but when we start doing some dungeon bosses and stuff, Outrageous Fortune becomes very useful just because it's getting 10% extra damage because of Edge of Fate bonus. So it's doing better than other rapid fire GLs, and it's the only rapid fire GL that's Edge of Fate based, right? In the heavy slot. Legendary. So it's a unique situation with Outrageous Fortune, and you should be rolling in Outrageous Fortune God rolls. So we're doing a Witherhoard Outrageous Fortune combo. We then switch to DPS. We're still rocking Dawn Chorus. Armor mods are going to differ, right? So this is where we've got double class font on here, double solar weapon surge with one kinetic weapon surge, double void resisting in this case because we're DPSing the boss. The boss does void. Weak concussive dampener. Double grenade font and a double super font. We're just going all in on fonts and surges to enhance all this. The main takeaway though is run a very high weapon stat. I mean, you don't need 185. You could probably get away with 150. But, yeah, creep that weapon stat up and rock some surges. That's basically the takeaway from it. Aspects and fragments, same on both builds. Song of Flame, Phoenix Dive, Celestial Fire, Heal and Nade for emergencies. Aspects are Touch of Flame, Helion. Fragments are Solace, Ashes, Torches, Singeing. No need for Empyrean, we're good enough. Oh, and we're using a Wyvern Gaze primary to increase damage. I could have run Fellwinters in this, but yeah, I could have done. I don't know, I just stuck with Dawn Chorus. But yeah, I could have added a 30% weakening instead of a 15% weakening. But how quickly you can run through this, it doesn't really make all that difference. You can run through this in 9 minutes solo, Spider Watcher. And if it's in a team, even 5 minutes a run. Spider Watcher is not that hard, the final boss checkpoint. Artifact mods, nothing matters for artifact mods, so I'm not even going to cover it. Everything I've showed you is relevant though. Right, what my build is what makes this run. There's nothing on the artifact that's going to increase a massive amount of damage or anything. Just discount on scabs. Just discount on scabs, lads. Like I say, Soul Scab doesn't stack, but there is a secret. I'll reveal it over time. Not yet. But yeah, that's everything that you need to know about this. Okay, series, that's Spider Watcher Solar Farm. I'm going to assume that you know nothing about this fight, and I'm going to take you from the top and explain the mechanics from top to bottom. 2 Hydras spawn in left and right. You're going to deal with those 2 Hydras first. That's your first goal. Take care of them, stick them with reward, whatever. Don't use heavy though, you don't need to, because you actually need to do a bit of ammo farming on this run with Outrageous Fortune, because it does blow through ammo quite a bit, but it does do tremendous amounts of damage to this boss. So does other weapons like Grand Overture and such, but we're going with this loadout for this run. Right, then you'll get Minotaurs that spawn in. You need to kill a Minotaur and shoot 5 fuses in middle. They are fixed. They're on the pillars and above the entrance door to the reactor room at the back of the map. You shoot the 5 fuses. You're then going to get 2 possible fuse rotations. There are 4 possible, and it's RNG which ones you get. If you are unfamiliar with fuse rotations, you need to get familiar with them. Once you get familiar with them, you're good to start the farm. So, you know, just practice a little bit on this if you know nothing about the fuses and where they're located. Some of them are trickier than others, but it is just a familiar... It's just you being familiar with it or not. Are you or not? If the answer's no, you need to check where all the fuses are and the possible circuits. So you're going to complete 2 rotations, but you're not going to complete that circuit until you've got 3 armor charges. Check that you've got 3 armor charges and all your weapons are reloaded and such. So I need 2 orbs. It's paramount that you get your orbs. If you don't, you're going to lose damage. Yeah? This is dungeon gameplay. This is how it is. You've got to get your armor charges and surge swap. Okay, and then we're going to complete the circuits. Both of them. Now make sure that the boss is in that reactor room. That room there, we call it the reactor room. Make sure the boss is in the reactor room when you shoot your last set of fuses. Have this room clear of supplicants and goblins. Don't worry about the Minotaurs too much. Sometimes they do chase you. And then when these fuses open up, you're going to shoot them again. Yeah? Then you're going to surge swap. If a Minotaur pushes, just heal and nade. Right? We're going to do a Helion because we're going to do that for DPS anyways. And then Wyvern Gaze. Yeah? Pre-shot with Wyvern Gaze, Wither Horde. And then we're going to do super bait and switch. 3 rotations of bait and switch if we can. Yeah? We switch back to Wither Horde. Activate Envious Arsenal. Still got bait and switch. Keep doing our damage. Wither Horde again. A little bit of a solar melee with Dawn Chorus to increase a bit more damage. Look at the damage. Chunking. And we finished the last bit of damage with a bit of super damage. Because this boss is actually weakened to super damage. Don't forget. So, yeah. We've done our bait and switch. We've done lots of damage to him there. Just imagine this with Fellwinter. 30% debuff. Yeah, it would almost solo 2-phase. It would be tight. It would be tight, but it would almost solo 2-phase. But like I say, you're running through this that quick anyways. It's fine. Same thing. Rinse and repeat from here. 2 Hydras left and right. The supplicants aren't a big of a threat. If you have not got the correct resistances on, you will actually die in this fight. If you don't use any resistance in this fight, say you use ammo generation mods, you're going to feel it, even at normal power. Even that, we're not at a deficit. Just you would feel it if you didn't rock Void Resist, Arc. See, Void Resist protects against the boss, and you kite him round the room. Arc Resist protects against Harpies, and Concussive Dampener protects against both Harpies and the boss, because that's a neutral resistance mod that protects against a whole host of different things in the game. But yeah, you got to get used to kiting that boss round the room. That's why you've got your Phoenix dives, you've got your healing nades, of course. It's just I was missing this circuit right here, right? If it should, yeah, you want a weapon that you're comfortable with on shooting fuses. Trace rifles are good in this as well. That means you're rocking double special. For this, I don't really recommend double special, but trace rifles are good in this encounter. Just thought I would mention it. So yeah, I've got 1 fuse left, 1 fuse right. So we're managing that, and I'm micromanaging the boss as well. We've started the right fuse. I'm going to start the left fuse because left fuse is a little bit more harder work than the right one. That's actually the worst fuse. So we've prepped 1 fuse. Remember, I'm not completing any circuits until I'm ready for ammo. Because on phase 1 we had full ammo, so it was fine. Yeah, phase 1 was. But for phase 2, we need to farm out a bit more ammo. But I've got 22 shots, which is almost enough. I want 1 more brick. 1 more brick. That's the 2 circuits almost complete. But now we need to double check. Like, don't start DBS. If you haven't got armor charges and you rush it, you haven't got armor charges, you just wasted a damage phase a little bit. You're going to do a lot less damage without it. Surge is granted 22% damage bonus at 3 stacks on the boots. That's a sizable amount of damage that you're going to lose. Yeah? So you've got to bear that in mind. So make sure you got your armor charges full super as well. Special ammo doesn't matter in this fight too much because it's Witherhoard and the ammo goes forever. But like I say, obviously heavy ammo does. Right, then we activate the final circuit. Make sure that the boss is in that room. He will completely de-aggro when you shoot your final node and he'll stop shooting at you, notice. Yeah, then you come here, shoot your 5 circuits. Again, rinse and repeating. It's all execution at this point. Yeah, and then you're going to surge swap early. Yeah, and you're going to window lick this damn reactor room because you want to get close. Get close. Closer to him, the easier it is actually. Wither and gaze. Make sure that Witherhoard shot hits. Then we super. We have not reloaded. We're 5 shots. We have not reloaded Envious Arsenal. We had 5 rather than 8. So that actually messed my damage rotation up slightly. But we my bait and switch. But we still do enough damage. So we actually messed up a little bit. And that was all because I didn't reload my heavy GL. Always make sure that you've reloaded your heavy GL to maximum 8 or 7 shots or whatever it's got. But look at the damage we've cooked him. Even though we slightly messed up there, we absolutely cooked him. Goes to show how powerful Outrageous Fortune really is. Reason why you're not seeing a lot of people run this GL is because in the portal, there's no need to run it on anything. I mean, you've got the dungeon layers, so you can run it in that. But like, your general strikes and nightfalls, you don't really need a heavy drum GL. There's other better options. But the power, this was close. Don't ever do that, by the way. The power of the heavy drum GLs is mainly in dungeon gameplay, where you're doing DPS and you're timed. That's where the power of it comes in. Yeah. And it's an incredible weapon because it's getting the Edge of Fate 10% bonus. It's the only heavy drum GL, legendary, that's Edge of Fate. You've got one and it's this. So it serves a unique place to Outrageous Fortune. So now we're looking for ammo. Getting 4 or 5 shots per brick. Just be careful and mindful of that boss at all times, obviously. If ever in doubt, though, obviously use a healing nade, heal clip. We get weak off him from the other room there. He can cook even on this difficulty, I suppose. Minotaurs can chase you in this room sometimes. You can farm up ammo in this room as well. Yeah. which you may need to. Which is sort of a pillar where you can stand. I'll show you, if I do go back there, we'll show you it. But yeah, I'm farming. You can also farm these Minotaurs for super energy. Because they're a major, you get a bit more energy, super energy off them as opposed to red bars. So you can farm the Minotaurs left and right. They keep spawning. Good for ammo as well. So yeah, you can come around this location and kite the boss around this pillar to farm up your ammo and orbs off these ads. I'm 17, not quite enough to finish this boss off, although there's a brick there. 21, one more brick and I'm fine, although we cook him before that. 21 was actually enough. But just in case there's any issues where we miss a Wither Horde shot or we do something, I'm just going to get one extra brick, which it's here. So we're fine. Make sure, like I say, always make sure you reload it. It messed the timing up on my auto-load and Wither Horde shot on phase 2. Because Wither Horde takes longer to auto-load now. They slightly nerfed it a few months ago now. Why they shouldn't have, I don't know why it was a personal hit. They tried to hit Wither Horde there and wasn't comfortable with that. That's fine though, it's still very powerful in the game, of course. It was just a slight nerf to auto-load and all stuff, but not that much, but it is still noticeable. Okay. Final wave, five circuits, same thing. But yeah, we absolutely cook him on this. Honestly, he's an incredible. If you haven't got Hierarchy of Needs and you missed Right of the Nine, well then, make sure you do get Hierarchy because it is a very special weapon still. Like I say, I'll solo something with it in the game. Well, I don't know what that will be, but we'll get round to doing some Hierarchy of Need build at some point. But yeah, we're just doing our bait and switch rotations. The boss is getting cooked with Wither and Gaze and such. But that was a solo farm for Hierarchy of Needs. Hope you enjoy. Thank you. This video is going to show you how to solo farm for the exotic sword Heartshadow. Continuing this dungeon exotic solo farming series, I'm going to complete the full mile because I'm already more than halfway. So we've got Navigator to do for Goes to the Deep for people, and Hierarchy of Needs for Spy the Watcher. This will complete the series. There are 3 other exotic dungeon exotics that I'm not covering as follows. Xenophage, Galahorn and Wishender. These 3 exotics are available via particular dungeon quests. I do not have those dungeon quests because I done those exotics years ago. So if you're somebody that does not have Xenophage, Galahorn or Wishender, you need to do their respective quests. You just follow a guide for that and you just go about your business doing that. My series is focusing on the dungeon exotics that are a random drop chance from the final boss of a dungeon checkpoint. So we've done them all up. Only thing I haven't done for you yet is Navigator and Hierarchy of Needs. That'll complete the series. Understand me now. Right, so why is Heartshadow so good? It's a sleeper pick. Reason being is because it does competitive damage in the game. It gets 10% Edge of Fate damage bonus. It's got weakening in its kit. And it's got invisibility in its kit as well. The catalyst, don't worry about it. It doesn't really do much at all for you. So if you're somebody that gets it and you haven't got the catalyst is very easy to get, by the way. But if you feel as though you don't want to get the catalyst for it, you don't have to. This exotic is good without the catalyst is what I'm trying to explain to you. This exotic sword has so many things going for it, and it's very competitive on damage. It almost matches a Wolfsbane Burning Ambition for damage. On over a 30-second damage window, which there'll be a clip showing you that, it's matching almost Wolfsbane. Wolfsbane will do more total damage though. It's got a hell of a lot more total damage. But on that burst damage scene, Heartshadow's doing very well. Because it's got weakening in it, right? And it's got a lot of invisibility. It's got 63 sword ammo, so if you want to use this as a utility exotic and give invisibility and weakening to builds that don't have it, for example, Stasis Titan, Prismatic Titan, maybe some Warlock builds that don't have invis, maybe a Hunter build that doesn't have invis, you will get precisely 147 seconds of invisibility with this exotic. 147 seconds, because it costs 3 sword ammo for a heavy attack. That gives 7 seconds of invis, which can be buffed, I believe, by certain void fragments. But base, You get 147 seconds. This sword has trapped Graviton Forfeit into it. It has made Graviton Forfeit almost useless. Yeah, the Nightstalker class, almost useless by just having Heartshadow. It's built in. It's got Nightstalker built into it. Do you not understand? It's it's extremely, it's got a lot of utility for it, and it's got a lot of damage built into it as well. It doesn't do quite as much as some other sword damage, but man, is it extremely viable. So those are the reasons why you need Heartshadow if you haven't got it already. Right, so on with the farm. You're gonna get a D2 checkpoint off Destiny2checkpoint.com, or grab it off a friend for Duality. You're gonna get a Duality checkpoint for Catel. No, we're not farming Nightmare of Garan. I've put him in many body bags this season, but today we're putting Catel in a body bag and showing you how to farm her, right? By getting a checkpoint, and you can do this rather quickly as well. So I'm going to go back to Titan because we've just showed you a Hunter build and a Walk build, so we're going back to Titan and showing you a farm on Titan for Duality. Very similar to the Sundered Doctrine setup. We're keeping things standardized. What you need to understand is, if I do a French tablecloth build, if a viewer's watching this, chances are he doesn't have a French tablecloth build. So if I run Finality's Auger, you're going to say, I haven't got it. You should be farming it, by the way. It is farmable in the game right now. I've proved that. But you say, I haven't got Finalities. I can't use it. Well, you have Exotic Mint, because it's Season Pass Exotic. So we're going with Season Pass Exotic to standardize the video so that the players that actually don't have Heartshadow have a better chance of getting it if I show you a build that you can copy. So we're going weapon-wise, new Exotic Mint, a solar primary of your choice. Use Yurtide if you've got it. This is not my main Yurtide, but use Yurtide if you got it. If not, Mini Tool. I'm aware that people missed out on Yurtide, so just use Mini Tool. And an Eager Edge Sword. An Eager Edge Sword is very handy in this. You'll be very surprised. So we're going to go all in damage for Exotic Mint. It's fine. I'm using Synthoceps. If you want to use Skull Fort, you can use it. I just haven't got round to focusing on it yet just because I haven't. Because I've got a massive D2 vault clean situation to do this week. And once I get everything cleaned, I'll start focusing some random exotics that I haven't got, like Peregrine Greaves, Skull Fort, and some other exotics on Warlock and Hunter, etc. So I'm just going simple. Synthoceps is fine. So you're using two builds. Run and build with Synthoceps, and then DPS build with Curious of the Fallen Star. Let's cover aspects and fragments so that you're right. T-Crash, Rally Barricade, Seismic Strike, Pulse Nade, Storms Keep, Knockout. Fragments are Resistance, Shock, Focus, and Frequency. So that's our run and build. There'll be a dim link anyways. Resistances are kind of important in this a little bit. Solar Resist and Arc Resist for run and build with Concussive Dampener, yes. Scavs on because you want that. Yeah, some Scavs on. Everything else doesn't matter. You do need Healthy Finisher on because you're going to Surge swap. Healthy Finisher is important on run and build. You're then going to swap to DPS Surge build, and you will see that now I have Surge on. Triple Strand Weapon Surge, Elemental Time Dilations, Super Fonts, and Double Solar Resist Concussive Dampener will help you out in this fight. I highly recommend Double Solar Resist in this. Don't go Sniper Resist, you don't need it. Just Double Solar Resist Concussive Dampener is the one for this when you're DPSing Catel. Rock a high weapon stat and a high super stat. I mean, I didn't even rock that high of a super stat. Bear in mind, I've got two double super font on there, right? But, yeah, that's what we went with. And obviously the weapons are the same. Artifact mods that matter. Not a lot matters in this, if we're honest. Shield Crush, Radiant Shrapnel, Fever and Chill for Mini Tool, Discount on Scarves, Fairy Proliferation and Pack Tactics does work with new Exotic Mint, but Energy Acceleration does not work with the Exotic Mint, but it does work with regular Mint Retrograde. That's all that matters. Overload SMG, I guess, because that gives you a little bit of extra DR, because you overload ads if you didn't know. It's not just for Overload Champions, it's for all enemies, so that's kind of nice. Yeah, Barrier Pulse, I mean, does that matter? No, not really. But yeah, I'm wearing two-piece smoke. That doesn't matter either, really. You're all right. But I mean, if you've got two-piece smoke, I feel as though that's the standard armor that people rock in PvE nowadays because of the DR. So There's a high chance that you have a 2-piece smoke. I'm just saying that you should probably use 2-piece smoke in this. And that's all of the information on with this, on with the farm. Before we start the farm, I just want to show you a quick comparison between Heartshadow and Wolfsbane Burning Ambition with the tricks with Nano Assault over a 30-second damage rotation for each, showing you and comparing the damage. We even done the tricks light, heavy, then swap to get half Nano Assault back. This is Burning Ambition, by the way. This isn't Attrition Orbs. No surges was used in any of these clips. So, yeah, we're doing the tricks. It's, like I say, it's over a 30-second damage rotation or so, just about, give or take. We just want a rough estimate number on how much damage Heartshadow does compared to Wolfsbane. So look at that. 30-second damage rotation. We stop. The shooting all says 49k. 49k for reference. Here we go. Let's go in with Heartshadow. Bear in mind, Wolfsbane has a lot more total damage because it's got much more ammo. But that's not what we're looking at. We're looking at burst damage here on a 30-second damage rotation. So we'll just keep doing light swings. Every time I get my heavy attack, I'll use it. It's a providing us a weakening look. It's hitting way harder than you think. Just watch this. Remember, Wolfsbane takes a lot of work for damage rotations. This is much easier than that. And it provides a lot of utility. Just watch this damage. Same again, roughly the same time, about 30 seconds. You can time it yourself if you want. Just roughly. 45k. Only 3,000 points less. And the trade-off is you get infinite invis. Look at this. I'm just showing you that you get... We don't get infinite invis. You get precisely 147 seconds of invis over the course of 63 sword ammo. Okay, so top right of the screen, you'll see an image. Sun top left, axe top right, dog bottom left, cup bottom right. These are the mechanics for duality. You're going to banner up and you're going to start the encounter. There'll be bellbearers spawning, but you're going to look to middle to see what symbols you get out of the 4 that I mentioned. You're going to have to dunk 4 symbols to get the DPS, 2 at every time. So I've got axe and dog. You can see the symbols in middle. That's mechanic number 1. Then you're going to kill 2 bellbearers on any side that you like, shoot the bell to go to the Nightmare Realm, and you're going to go to each symbol that you got. So I got axe and dog. That's bottom right, bottom left. You need to remember that for your routing. So if you get bottom right, bottom left like that, and you go on diagonal between symbols, consider killing your bellbearers on the way to your next symbol. Make sure you pick up that symbol after the Scion is defeated. Then you've got your 2 symbols to dunk in the normal realm. Do you see the mechanics? The 4 bellbearers in middle need to be killed so that you get an exit point because Nightmare Collapsing. If Nightmare Collapsing reaches 0 seconds, you die. Eager Edge is very nice for this. It makes everything very comfortable. And it's very comfortable for DPS as well. You don't even need a heavy weapon to DPS this boss. Because Exotic Mint matches most heavy weapons, if not does more damage than most heavy weapons in the game. That's how crazy it is. Bungie's made an exotic pulse that matches heavy weapons or better than. This allows you to run Eager Edge. Because players who lack skill will have their skill enhanced if they rock Eager Edge. It bumps, they punch above their weight. If a player that lacks movement pops on Eager Edge, they will punch above their weight for movement, which is very good for this fight at DPS. All come to fruition when you see it. When you've dunked your final symbols, we've got another set here. We've got axe and dog. In actual fact, it's these same exact symbols as what we got on the first phase. So we're going to shoot yet another bell to go and get our next set of symbols, which is axe and dog, the same. So we're repeating. There's 2 Colossus at the either side of the map. Never deal with the Colossus. Your goal is to outrun the Colossus and their blinding attacks. Always stay on the move through mid and use Eager Edge. Sword. Look at that Seismic Strike. If you want to use a bit of Seismic Strike, you can as well. Just melt them. You can use Thunderclap with Skullfort as well. I'm not against you doing that. It really is up to you. That's a play choice. That's a play style choice. It really doesn't matter either way, as long as that you understand that those bellbearers need to be safely taken care of, and that you don't wipe, of course. Alright, so now we've got on our final 2 symbols. Remember, Centurions spawn for every symbol that's dunked. There is a possible chance of wipe. If you dunk when you're red barred, you will die. So just get a heal clip kill or a melee kill, then dunk. Dunk at full health and you're fine. Dunk at full health. It's common sense that, right? Or it should be. We dunk our final symbol. When you dunk your final symbol, make sure you got 3 armor charges via orb mods, whether it be heavy-handed, solar siphon, or whatever you're using. Just make sure you got 3 armor charges. Then shoot the chains. Shoot the chains and come to this location. There you go. And then we're going to search swap. See? We search swap there, make sure there's no bell bearers in the middle, and then we sword the Centurion packs. Kill the 2 in middle immediately with the sword, and then check the boss. Catel has an RNG chance to go to 3 different bells. You need to cut Catel off. Then shoot the bell just before Catel gets to that bell, and then pulse grenade, T-crash. Then rally barricade goes up. Do not stand too close to the boss if you're using new exotic mint, because the detonation damage does self-inflicted damage. Look, I'm too close. Do you see that? I actually nearly... I was standing a meter too close, but that's fine. We can use Eager Edge to get out of that situation. Check Catel next. She goes middle. So we shoot middle. There we go, shoot middle. Barricade goes up. And you want to do 7 detonation shots. You are going to get weakish, yes, but you've got your barricade to soak up damage. And then when the resonance timer ends, you go in with either a melee charge or sword. For the last set of bell bearers, you shoot the bell again. You get Awakening Resonance, get that damn barricade up, and there we go. Solar Resist is going to help out massively with this. I could have ran Wolfsbane in this, or even Lament. Yeah, I imagine Lament to probably steal Solar 2-phase this boss. Probably, even though Lament's in a bad spot, it probably would. And Wolfsbane definitely would as well. But I'm going with more of a standardized loadout to sort of say, just use new exotic mint because it does all the damage in the world. You can super the boss twice in a damage rotation, and it allows you to run a sword on Eager Edge so that you can fight against Catel's movement to stop Catel. Because what's Catel wanting to do? She wants to get to the bell to escape. You're stopping Catel to get to the bell. Do you understand how it works? So now you need to look for your symbol. So I think I've got Axe and the other symbol I didn't quite catch when I was watching it back. But I think it might have been Sun. We'll just see what I end up doing here. So I've got Axe. Yeah, he is right. It's Axe and Sun. So Axe and Sun is 2 top. So the routing's a little different. It is important that you get that in your mind and visualise your routing before you come here. If you're new to this, that is very important. So like if it is Axe and Sun, you understand that you're going to go to Axe or Sun and Eager Edge over the way to where you need to be. If it's bottom right, top left, you need to cut through the middle of the map. That's a little different. You've got to consider that. Because the bell bears might push you back and such. So your routing, you've got to get that clear in your mind. I know it might sound simple to veterans, but that little trick is something that I was thinking about when I used to Solar Flawless Duality back in the day when it came out. Back in the day, Duality Solar Flawless was a bit of a hell. Not now. It's a complete cakewalk compared to what it used to be. It's nothing like what it used to be. I would go as far to say, as this is one of the easiest dungeons to Solar Flawless now. It's not as easy. I mean, Shattered Throne's easier than this, for sure. But there's a hell of a lot more dungeons in the game that are harder than this, for sure. So same thing, we're going for our symbols. Yeah. Look, I'm cutting over through these bell bearers. So it was Dog and Sun in this case. But as I was going across mid there, it was worth my while just to quickly kill those bell bearers, because we need to do that anyways. The time on this is very favourable as well. Especially you got Eager Edge. You're flying. You're zooming through the Nightmare Realm. Now you can solo 1-phase this boss with a couple of different builds. Especially Hunter Grapple Melee. Oh, it melts in this. For sure. But most casuals won't be able to pull that tech off. Yeah, we're going with something for everyday players here. That's what I'm aiming. That's on a target audience for this one. Is players who don't have Heartshadow. Do you think a specialist player who can solo 1-phase this boss doesn't have Heartshadow? The chances of that are very unlikely. The players who don't have Heartshadow are players who are not experts. Therefore, they cannot solo 1-cycle Catel because they're not an expert. Do you understand it? The chances of you running into a Guardian in the wild that doesn't have Heartshadow but can solo 1-cycle Catel is extremely rare. Extremely rare on that. So yeah, we're on final phase. We ran through that very quickly. We saw the 2 bell bears in mid. Catel goes right. Look at this. See, that's why Seismic Strikes are good. We're cutting Catel off. Cut Catel off so that she stomps. Then you shoot your bell. Boom. Pulse grenade goes in. T-crash, then rally barricade. Stand back a little bit. Learn from my mistake a little bit on the first phase, and don't stand too close. Yeah, you don't need to stand so close. And the boss is done. Cooked. We melt Catel on this. Very easy to pull off this. We're establishing where Catel goes. She goes right rather than mid. Sword comes in. Look. Very easy with the sword. So that's how you solo farm Duality for Heartshadow. Heartshadow is worth your time. It's an incredible sword in the game right now. It never used to be, but nowadays it is. So that's the farm for Heartshadow. Hope you enjoy. Thank you.